preparing.
The Woo Metaphysical Studio is always popping.
Plus you got a glow unlike any other I've seen. Chalk that up to the melanin.
We are dedicated to love.
Love God herself.
That is living our vision every day.
Introducing first, Envy McKee.
And the Woo Woo Core crew, DJ Frosty Phoenix and Martin the Man.
Envy.
That black yo magic, my magic. That black yo, look at that black yo, hitting me with all of that melanin. Hocus pocus, baby.
Sufi woman, you go see that goddess in love.
Starfunk woman.
onWURDradio.com.
Thank you for being here.
Hi, Levine House Star people. Welcome to the Envy McKee Show. I'm Envy McKee. DJ Frosty Phoenix on the ones and twos. We got Martin the Shaman. That we did not do that the way it's supposed to be done. So we're going to do that now, right? I said welcome to the Envy McKee Show. This is AKA Starfolk University, the onlyest on-air school for modern mystics. And you know that we have a gorgeously full show planned for you. But we are going to do this properly. We are going to take proper attendance. Okay? Eric Nixon, a.k.a. DJ Frosty Phoenix on the ones and twos, a.k.a. our Dean of On-Air Music Fellowship and Keeping the Ship Together. Are you here, sir?
No, I'm kidding. Yes, I am here.
Martin, the Shaman, our Dean of Questions and Healthy Skepticism. Are you here, sir? We did that last week. You actually weren't here last week. Stop playing.
Right.
What do you mean stop playing?
Stop playing. Are you here, sir? Oh, he's just going to be that man today. Martin is here. I don't know what he's doing, but he's here.
Welcome back, sir. Yeah, you're, you weren't feeling too well. So.
Like last week, I literally did this thing, and there was no answer. It was like, that's why we take attendance, because, sometimes. And then this week, you really just...
Last week.
Yeah, we did. My name is Envy McKee. I'm the founder of Starfolk University, and I'm the dean of what we call metaphysical exploration. If you're new to this class, welcome. Hi, so hi. We're glad that you're here. And what is happening this show, you ask? We are continuing unpacking this month's shift prompt, The Art of Being Divine Wealth, especially coming after such a gorgeous full day of programming yesterday for Founders Day. Yay! We are celebrating the life and legacy of Dr. Walter P. Lomax, the man that makes being on this gorgeous WURD radio station helmed by our gorgeous CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Like, this is just a gorgeous family affair, and we are just so grateful to be here. So we are, lifting up Dr. Lomax in his, wherever he is, beyond the veil, holding the space for us as an ancestor, and we're grateful that we have this platform to continue to have gorgeous programming for you. So this hour, it's the 7 o'clock hour. So that means we are going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world. The Democratic National Convention happened this week. And so we're going to go around the room and find out everyone's thoughts. If that's something that comes up at some point during this hour, we're going to share the good news. And then in the 8 o'clock hour, another Flashback Friday, Black Artist Story 365, this time Yvette Lee Bowser. Ow. And then Dr. Ajima will be in the Woo Woo Metaphysical Studio with us, and we are going to be rolling around our shift prompt. Third Fridays are about taking our shift prompt and seeing what we can do with this spiritual tool that we have been working on for the last several weeks. And so this week we look around the world. We really intentionally look around the world and see where we can apply divine wealth. And it was interesting because the shift prompts and the way that these conversations happen on Friday nights really stem from the spiritual lessons that I am kind of being thrust in, that I see around the world. They're definitely intuited, conjured, however you want to look at it. They're divined. I act as a vessel, and spirit speaks through me to have these conversations. And a lot of times they stem from room, like growing edges, if you will, spaces where there's a little glitch in the matrix for me, and I was like, well, what does this mean? What can we do with this? How does this apply? And that's really, if you look at Earth as school, if you look at us being incarnated at a time such as this, you would really see that we are the veil is beginning to be lifted, and we're recognizing that just like we have high school and elementary school and all different grade school and college and, advanced education, being incarnated is school. We're learning. We're here to learn a specific lesson. We're here to leave something. We're here to help, unfold the soul. We're all in different fluxes of learning. And if we begin to look at life in that way, I think it would take some of the pressure off, because you realize, everything is a lesson. You win some, you learn some, you never lose some, and it would take some of the pressure off. But I say all that to say that today was just a really, really weird day, and there's nothing wrong. There's no problems. There's nothing like that. It's just, I feel like there was a new moon on the 19th, which was Wednesday, and it just feel full. It like really tight in my body. And I feel like I'm going through a growth spurt, a spiritual growth spurt. That's normally what happens. There's a lot of emotions. There are lots of stuff, coming out. And I was kind of sitting in meditation, and, I blessed the show before the show, and I just, love up on everybody, put the metaphysical juju on everything. And Spirit was essentially speaking, saying, what are you making room for? You feel tight, and you understand that inside of your body is infinite. What are you making room for? Where are you making space for all the good that's on its way to you? Where are you making space for all that you say that you want? And we were talking in our show meeting earlier about how, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but a lot of the people that win the lottery, the majority of the people that win the lottery, they end up going bankrupt or filing for bankruptcy within 5 years of, no matter how much money it is, within 5 years of winning the lottery. And, there's conversation that goes around about what that is and what that means. And for the most part, from the spiritual application of that is, they didn't make space. They didn't have the spiritual room. They weren't spiritually strong enough to be able to hold all of that currency, all of that money energy. And so even though we are looking at wealth beyond money, we're looking at all the different ways that wealth and divine wealth shows up into our lives. Money is one of those things. What are we making room for? What are we making space for? And when you feel tight in your body, when you're having these growth spurts, these spiritual growth spurts, how do you make the space? And we'll be able to talk more about this next week with with Jason. When Jason's on, he will really give us the woo-woo on it. But this week we're going to begin having this conversation because it's top of mind. And then if you look around the world, you know, we're all going through a spiritual growth spurt. This country is going through a spiritual growth spurt. The old way, the things that we're used to, the things that we have allowed to be, the places that we were the most comfortable, the things that we took for granted is no longer relevant for where we need to be. How we used to run things is not sustainable. So we have to do something new. And so this show is the beginning of having that conversation. We want to deal also with, you know, no vision and the people perish. Lots of us we're just kind of like unsatisfied with how this country is moving forward, with the state of our politics, with the state of our healthcare system, with the state of our school systems. We get to see all the growing edges in this, you know, in this country. And so this is the show that we invite you also to call in, and we're going to revisit what does our beloved community look like? And knowing what we know now, like we made a list several months ago. Well, we don't even need that list because now looking at how the curtain has been pulled back, what's on the list now? What does a world at work for everyone look like now? What can we, as we usher out we'll just look at our current president as kind of like lighting the fire.
Current president.
That's what I say.
Our.
Oh, sorry.
I'm kidding. Yeah, well, low-key, but you know.
Thank you for that correction. But when you look at what it looks like now, you know, we can look at it as he lit a match. You know, it was an extinction event, as Dr. Ian said yesterday on the Well and Woke panel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an extinction event. He lit a match, and he burnt the whole thing down. I mean, he didn't, but you know, metaphorically. So what are we gonna grow from this soil instead? What will we have instead? Because we can be upset at what we have all we want, but if we don't come up with what we want, if we cannot articulate what we will be holding people accountable to, we will continue to have the same thing, no matter who's in office. What do we want? And so these are things we're going to be talking about this show. And it's, you know, I know that we can be heady and heavy and all that other stuff, but we're really going to be riffing. You know, I'm feeling away today, but I have two gorgeous co-hosts that are going to help keep this show, you know, give that oomph, that energy.
If I'm going to kick it off, the question is, like, is it okay to not know what you want? Because you're not used to anything different than what you already have.
No, you know what? I've been going through that too. And I want to say my husband is going through that too, where you go, well, I know that's something, but I don't know. I don't think that I don't know in this case, knowing what you want. I don't think that is an acceptable answer anymore. You know what I'm saying? And that might be,
serious.
that might, huh?
Too serious a problem.
Yeah.
Facing. Yeah, we're at that fork road in space and time where things can go one way or can go the other way. And what was that? What do they call that, Eric, from the comic books and from the Avengers, when you're facing a decision and it's existential, Essex. Yeah, I can't say it. How do you say it? Existential crisis.
Existential crisis. That's a word right there.
Do we go back and make sure that the guy who snapped his fingers doesn't exist? Or do we take that snap of finger and go forward with what we're left with?
That was such a
make a whole new glove and be like, I am Iron Man.
Right, because I unfortunately I had to let go.
Don't look like that, Eric. I know. I saw the Avengers.
No. I mean, no.
He's just thinking.
It's because that whole concept, taken away from the nerd part of it, it's like
he looked like he got real excited.
Yeah, right. Because it's like I love that theory, and I still think that was a great way to, from a writer standpoint, most like comic books and stuff like that, and fantasy and fiction, kind of show you a little bit of a societal, what's the word, clash of ideals. Like, is Lex Luthor wrong for technically his goal wanting to stop Superman? Not because he's evil, but because he does not like this alien doing better than him to protect the people that he gets money from. Like, overall, his goal is he is jealous of Superman. So he wants to eliminate him.
Well, what's interesting about that, have you seen the, on Prime, they have movies you can rent, and one is the Justice League. And they actually have it's a cartoon Justice League, the animation one. I forget what it's called, Eric, but they actually have a similar storyline where Darkseid has, he's gotten everybody's secret, and so he knows they're coming for him, and he destroys. I mean, just like what's the name did with the Avengers.
Obliterate.
And so they're looking at Flash as having to run back and create another time, how Flash can move fast through time and space. Yeah, and create another Flashpoint and redo all the damage that Darkseid did. But while they're sitting there figuring that out, they're thinking about all the people they lost. They're thinking about the growth they had. If they do that and create another Flashpoint, all that goes away. So
what the world they were used to goes away. Yeah.
Right. So all that, people keep saying pre-COVID and all this other stuff. And I don't think we can even conceive pre, not that didn't happen, but it's like stuff has been done to this point where one of my good friends I no longer speak to because he refuses to accept COVID is real. And I want to punch him in the face. Like, it's just like, this dude is like, he's so, so this is really, besides Trump,
and then
COVID has
to
really
that
separated
point,
us.
like, that's how we, I have had people that I thought were really, really good friends.
Right.
Think Donald Trump is a great president. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, even prior to this, like, they just live and die. And the thing of it is, whether you think he's a good president or not, like, you have to look at outcomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that. I think also we get used to doing the this or that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get used to having conversations.
This or that.
Yeah,
This
right.
or that.
You can get with this, or you should play that when we come back. Black Sheep. You know Black Sheep, right?
Sheep. Oh, man.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Because sometimes we got to be, you know what I'm saying? Millennials.
You need to stop.
I'm just playing.
Now I would show a younger age if I was like, oh, don't you mean the music they used for that hamster commercial for Kia, the Kia Soul car?
I see. I don't even know that commercial.
That was their theme song. That's when people started being like, "Oh, what's that song?" And people were like, "I'm gonna need you to go listen to your music history, sir, or ma'am, or youngin."
Listen.
I gotta talk about in good news. 2 videos I came across. I haven't even heard this guy, but
well, then hold that thought, because when we come back from this break, we have the good news. Because I need some good news. Don't you need some good news? Absolutely. Yep. This is the Envy McKee Show. That is Martin the Shaman. That's DJ Frosty Phoenix on the ones and twos. I'm Envy McKee. This is the Envy McKee Show on WURD 900 AM 96.1 FM. We're going to go pay these bills, and we'll be right back.
If you want to start your morning with mindfulness, motivation, and inspiration, tune in to Daybreak with me, Helana, here on WURD Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 a.m. I'm a health and wellness coach with over 15 years experience helping people to transform their lives. On the show, we talk health and wellness 360, from getting your mind right to getting your money right. So let's rise and shine together right here on WURDradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 on your AM dial on Daybreak every morning.
He was the heart of your family, and he taught you our history. He helped you fix your first flat. He was the best backyard DJ around. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage.
The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
On Saturday, August 22nd, the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium will come to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community Beit El Afia Mosque at 1215 West Glenwood Avenue in North Philadelphia to provide free tests for anyone in the community experiencing symptoms. Council President Darrell Clark is sponsoring this event in partnership with the Black Doctors Consortium. It runs from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Their mission is to provide COVID-19 testing to African Americans. Data shows that African Americans and Hispanics make up a disproportionately large percentage of COVID-19 cases. If you have COVID-19 symptoms, fever, chills, cough, a sore throat, shortness of breath, or fatigue, come out Saturday between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. to the mosque at 1215 West Glenwood Avenue and get tested.
No fear, just facts. This is WURD, independent black
Have you always
media.
wanted to learn an interdimensional language but not sure where to begin? Those basic language apps not offering the languages you really want to learn? Good news! Now there's Staretta Stone, offering languages like Tuastai and the Elders language taught by native speakers so you and your friends can blurt out and up-level your vibrational frequency at the same time. For more information, read The Stellar Trilogy by Envy McKee, available at envymckee.com and wherever books are sold like Amazon. And tune into The Envy McKee Show, Friday nights 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 900 AM, 96.1 FM WURD, and worldwide on WURDradio.com and the Word app. Join the involution.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at Forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to the Envy McKee Show.
Is yours. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. I think you get with this, because this is where it's at.
Welcome back to the Envy McKee Show. Black Sheep. Thank you, DJ Frosty Phoenix on the ones and twos for knowing your music history. Welcome back. What?
No, I was going to say I had to bring that up because that's part of my good news.
That he knows. So now it's time, the time you have been waiting for the last weeks. You have been waiting for us to do the good news, and it is time to do the good news.
Yeah, no, this is not how it works. Technology is over.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But we're gonna go to it.
Doom, 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 doom. You want to start, Martin? Are we waiting for music? Or no,
just get started. Okay. It'll come. Okay. Just start it.
So I came across something, I think it was on Facebook, called Pass the Mic, Volume 2. And it was all, so DJ Cassidy, I'm probably not pronouncing his name right, but Cassidy, created something called Pass the Mic during COVID, where you just have different artists And the hip hop version is Pastor Mike Volume 2, and it's got everybody. And when I say everybody, in their house, doing a 1 or 2 verses, or some people do 3 to 6 verses. But this is beautiful. And seeing Rakim, and then seeing Kumo D, and seeing Big Daddy Kane, and just seeing, and the way that, obviously he's a DJ, so the way he put it together, I'm almost listening to this probably, I feel like this is my feel-good motivation, like little cheat pick-me-up that I listen to, and he has one for R&B called Pastor Mike Volume 1. It has all the Ray Parker Jr., Ricky Bell.
Ray Parker Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, that's Pastor Mike Volume 1.
Old school.
He's got Sadia Garrett. How do you pronounce her name?
Yes.
She sings, she's singing for Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind and Fire, Patricia Rush. I mean, he's got phenomenal. That's not as inspirational for me with Pastor Mike Volume 2. Pastor Mike Volume 2 is just like hitting it. It's just that's my generation. You know, that's what. So anyway, I thought this was really good news because I also feel like it's good news because not a lot of people have seen this. It's only got 300,000 views. That's nothing in today's market.
Right.
And so I'm like, this is like a secret. Like, only those of us that get it actually see Pastor Mike. But it's a high quality of artists that just makes you feel like this is what hip-hop is. I'm not saying that hip-hop today is not hip-hop. I'm just saying this reminds you that this is where the lyrics, and there are some people in the kitchen, some people, like, look, guys on this balcony, like, really? But it's a beautiful thing. Check out Pastor Mike Volume 2 by DJ Cassie on YouTube, or you can find it on Facebook.
Okay, cool. What about you? That's your good news, your official, your whole thing?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, awesome. What about you, Eric?
I'm trying to think. There was a couple things that happened that were good this week. I'm just, Founders Day was definitely good news.
Oh my God,
yesterday.
yes.
Shout out to the team here and our leader, Sarah Lomax-Reese, for putting together a great program with a lot of black and brown individual, and even Jeff Brown, who is brown, I guess that falls in the category of informing our community about the different initiatives that we can get into moving forward, and just overall conversations of knowledge and growth as a community and society. I think that's what yesterday definitely represented, and definitely showed the work that Dr. Lomax put into when he began to build this station, and where it would go from here, I think would surpass even someone else's wildest dreams on what this station would do as a society, and where it will be in the society moving forward, and being a pillar in the conversations moving forward.
Yes, we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. Answered prayers. That's it?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. So my good girlfriend in my head, Demetria L. Lucas, she is an author, and she used to be a relationship, I don't want to say guru, but she was one of those people that gave you common sense relationship ideas. She's written 2 books. One of them is Don't Waste Your Pretty, and one of them was A Belle in Brooklyn. She was a writer for Essence. She did all kinds of stuff. Well, she just announced that her film for her book, Don't Waste Your Pretty, is coming to TV One in 2021. And she was in Atlanta last month, and they were filming all of this, and I'm trying to see who all these people are. I don't know their names, but it looks like Carrie Hilson is in this movie. I don't know who the other people are, but that's dope. I think that's amazing. I love to see our sisters get there. Like it looks like it's going to be one of those what is that the Hallmark Channel kind of things?
Yeah.
But black It looks like
Cleo. There's a channel they have for black women. I think it's called Cleo. I don't know if she's on the Cleo channel. Oh, well, this is TV1. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about
Yeah, it's on TV1, but I'm just saying it looks like one of those films that it's like made for TV films like they do on the Hallmark Channel. It looks like it's going to be one of those. And I'm just really excited to see it because I love everything she does. I love the way her brain works. Tracy Ellis Ross. This is from an LA Times article where Tracy Ellis Ross said that early on in the show Blackish, her character Rainbow was often saddled with what she called lady chores. Like, you know how when they have actors doing busy work, for whatever reason, her busy work was always in the kitchen. She always had laundry. She was always folding and cooking, doing something.
Yeah, they didn't have to go to the hospital that much.
She a whole doctor. You know what I'm saying? And she's always in the kitchen doing stuff.
But I felt like that was because Dre was lazy, though. I felt like that was integral to the storyline of how she was doing everything.
I think that's what happened in the beginning, and then she started saying, why am I carrying the laundry again? She said, why am I the person in the kitchen cooking right now when this has nothing to do with the scene? You know, she said she spoke out about it, and they switched it up. So that's good. I think that's good news. You can clap up for she spoke up and then they switched it up, Eric.
I was looking for something. Jeez.
Just saying.
I mean, no, for real. That is interesting information. I'm not taking it away from you.
I didn't feel like
away from her.
But my really, really good news, like my really big, huge good news. So you know that I love Empress Naima, right? She is our dean of intuitive arts. I love everything that she does. I support every single thing this woman creates because I think she's brilliant, and I love, I just love her. So I ordered. She was on last week, and she was talking. No, she didn't really talk about her conjure oil last week. But one of the weeks she was on, she was talking about she had this conjure oil that was coming up, and bath salts that's made with this conjure oil, and last week we were talking about roots and that kind of stuff. So conjure oil is one of those things. She was talking about how this has been steeped for 7 weeks, and it has intention in it, and it's got herbs and crystals and all that good stuff. I got my conjure oil, and it's here. I dressed the candles that are behind us. I'm doing all the things. And then I have this bath salt, and when I tell you this stuff smells so good. This is not a commercial, by the way.
Oh, it will be.
Right, it sounded like one.
So. But it smells so good. I cannot wait to take a bath with it. So, just keep that in mind if you're looking for black-owned businesses to support. Empress Naima, conjure oil, and bath salts. Follow.
I think that we should collaborate.
And her spices.
Oh yeah, how was the seasoning? Have you used the seasoning yet?
You put it on everything. You don't understand. I put it on everything. I told her she needs to make a bigger container because I have my 2 little containers. I put it on everything, even things that does not need Cajun. I use it.
That's how I'm doing it. I made some boneless chicken thighs last night that we used for a salad.
Wow, did you get louder?
Today. Did I get louder?
You did.
He's talking closer to his mic because he's feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not well, so I don't. I mean, I'm not 100%, so I don't want to strain my voice.
Okay.
But I'm not my bad. I didn't mean to get louder. So, but I was saying I put it on chicken last night. Normally I put it on something that was more Cajun-ish or Creole-ish. This is just a regular chicken. I'll chop it up to put in some salad. So, yeah, I'm with you.
Does it?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
And then it blends well with it pairs well with like whiskey or like any cooking wine. It doesn't stand. You know what I mean? It doesn't stand. That's not just. It's not just acidy. She really made it really blend well for a lot of other things you can put on there. What do we make? I made this mango shrimp. This recipe was called spicy shrimp, and it had jerk sauce. It's jerk seasoning you're supposed to put on the shrimp. And I put the Cajun on before I put her seasoning on before I put the jerk seasoning on. It was phenomenal.
I don't eat meat, right?
Yeah.
That's for y'all. That's for
I know you eat faux shrimp, so.
I don't.
you don't eat full shrimp.
What did you say? Another part of good news is the Steve Bannon arrest.
Oh, I forgot all about that. Yes, let's talk about that.
How he looked like Kenny Rogers. He's like Kenny Rogers without the beard.
Oh wow.
Did he? He looks like Kenny Rogers.
Listen, when I tell you that this dumpster fire is spreading, like all of the things.
I see an article that says
Michael
Steve
Cohen,
Bannon's
yeah.
indictment and arrest should worry Trump and his associates.
It should.
It's not even
because-
trying to be good news because you're like downfall is starting to creep up on you, but just when you want to see
And the
justice
US
be
Post
done,
Office
and the U.S. Post Office
pushed. They were the ones that helped the investigation. The U.S. Postal Inspectors.
You ever try to mess with something?
You see this?
You ever try to mess with something that wasn't bothering you, and then when you mess with it, it makes situations worse for yourself. You know, like if you try to do something.
So he
like,
was going so hard on the post. He was going so hard on the post office. So the post office was like, all right, bet.
uncovers your own stuff. Like, don't mess with. That's a lesson. Well, I'm glad this lesson is being learned by the current president. But don't mess with stuff that you don't need to be messing with, because then your stuff.
Wait. What is it? Don't come for me unless I send for you.
That is another one. That's another one.
Don't come for me unless I send for you.
Well, what I think we need to look at seriously on a serious note is what these guys are going to be able to walk away with, because he's going to pardon people before he leaves office. We need to look at laws that, like, we have first strike, second strike, third strike laws. We need to create that for white collar crimes, because Manafort, Roger Stone, and this guy need to be in jail, and Trump, but they're going to walk because the ability to pardon. We need to be able to get something they can't pardon from, or change that whole pardon scenario.
We have to talk about that, because the hope is not that we create tighter laws for shadier people. The hope is that, you know what I'm saying? The hope is that
justice is done.
We are thoughtful enough to leave the shady people out of the fold. You know what I'm saying? The hope is that we
more
evolve.
secure people that they can't shade.
Nah, be shady
They
over
raised
there. You can't
17 million
prevent
in one
shady
day
people.
for the
You
wall.
can't totally
You can't.
prevent
That's
shady
what I'm
people.
saying.
They
And
raised
that's the
17
thing.
million in one day for that wall. That's the reason why this exists. Is because, to your point, Envy, if we had creating a world that we want to live in, why are there people willing to fund a wall to keep out other human beings who actually we stole their land?
How much did they raise? 17 million
in one day to build a wall.
So how much did they raise altogether?
25.
Yeah, it was like 25.
So Steve Bannon stole 25 million from American people.
And even recordings of him joking
Because they
about
did a GoFundMe for the wall.
So, but that's the thing. If you try to hit stuff like GoFundMe has done good for people. So it's just like.
Well, what I'm saying is that, to Envy's point, is that it's not so much change the law as it is to have a better viewpoint of your neighbor, who theoretically you want to see them loved the way you love. And therefore, a Steve Bannon can't come along and grift, people out there hard-earned money, but he couldn't grift them if they weren't giving them the money in the first place.
Yeah, if they didn't have that whole, and so yes, this is the conundrum that we're in, because we have, we want to say this underlying kind of firmament idea of things. Folks still want to argue about people's humanity. Folks are still kind of stuck in their ignorance. That doesn't diminish their humanity, but they're just kind of stuck there. And then you have this higher conversation where we say, that's fine and great, take your time, but we want to build something else because this isn't working for everybody. And so that's kind of where we are. We have to decide, how much energy are we going to put toward the people that ain't ready? You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't continue to fortify,
knuckleheads.
The knuckleheads, because that's essentially, we can't continue to make dumb laws just because.
Or immature people. Maybe it's not
immature, spiritually immature. But here's the thing, right? The whole reason why Donald Trump is still in office right now, based on all the things that he's done, is because the office of the presidency was seen as pristine. Not necessarily the men in it were pristine, because there have been some folks, but just there was kind of like a gentleman. I'm using cis language.
Loosely.
It was kind of like a gentleman's agreement. You know what I'm saying? This is the pristine office.
Yeah,
it was. And Mr. Donald got in there, and he was, I'm calling him Mr. Donald like he's somebody else. Mr. Donald got in there, and he was like, oh, but this doesn't apply to me because I don't have none of this. You know what I'm saying? You should have made stronger laws. And the reality is, as we see, no matter how tight you make the laws, there's always going to be somebody like that who's like, oh,
absolutely,
you made tighter laws. So I guess what I'm trying to get to here is we need to encourage better people and better behavior. We need to have a different standard where we don't need to make, like, writing on a paper isn't changing behavior. You know, ratifying a law isn't changing behavior. There are lots of things that were illegal that folks, you know, held on to that were really, really crappy laws. Let's talk about slavery. It was legal. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we can't keep relying on the law to be how we handle our humanity. There has to be some baseline here where we go, these are lines that we aren't going to cross just because, and it's not debatable. You know what I'm saying? That we starting from here now. You get what I'm saying? Because right now we scuffling down here, wasting energy. We have to start higher. And I think that's what Michelle Obama was trying to say in her DNC speech. It's like we have to more than have to go higher. We have to live from a higher space. Stop giving these muckety muck people who like to be in the muckety muck because of their own trauma that they have to work through and their own ignorance that they have to work through. Stop giving them energy.
But don't you think, Envy, that when she talks, it's a little too late?
Oh, we got to go break.
Okay.
Hold that thought. I said what I said, though. So hold that thought. So what we're going to do, we're going to pay these bills when we come back. Eric, where are the phone line numbers?
215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Did you do that on purpose?
I can actually see them right behind you, but I like when you say it because you sound like movie phone.
The Philly version.
Right, you do. You sound like movie phone.
Actually, you sound like the Jersey version of, yeah.
This is the MV
I don't have an accent. I'm not. All right, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Martin the Shaw Man, DJ Frosty Phoenix, and you. Hi there in Facebook Live. We love you. We're going to pay these bills. We'll be right back.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
RG Electrical Inspections provides electrical inspections for realtors, licensed electricians, and homeowners. RG is a certified plans examiner and licensed underwriter providing assistance for PICO outages. RG is also listed on PICO's website. RG Electrical Inspections is a licensed and insured underwriter serving Philadelphia and surrounding areas. Call if you have plans to review today, 267-902-1655.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com.
Tune in Saturdays from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to hear Empire Capital and Consulting founder Mark Palmer's show titled Black Money, Black Power. This show centers around black money and how black power is derived from money. Tune in every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Black Money, Black Power, hosted by Mark Palmer.
Are you a star person suffering from where do I really fit in this world displacement disorder, or WURD for short? If you or someone you know is suffering from trying to fit into a world you were born to help evolve, but forgot, and so you did other stuff, you may be eligible to take part in a Star People Realignment Program, sponsored by the Wake Up the Star People of Earth Omniversal Alliance. For more information, read The Stellar Trilogy by Envy McKee, available at envymckee.com or wherever books are sold, like Amazon. And tune into The Envy McKee Show, Friday nights, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on wordradio.com and the WURD app. Join the Envolution.
WURD TV, We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to the Envy McKee Show.
Back to the Envy McKee Show. Envy McKee, DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin LaShawn Man. This whole month, our shift prompt is the art of being divine wealth. And so we understand, and we are becoming to understand, that wealth is more than money. We have made the conversation about wealth being about money. We call people who have exorbitant amounts of money, we call them wealthy, and that is just a habit. It is a habit that we got used to. It is a dynamic that we got used to in this country. Some kind of way we got off track. We were blaming Diddy earlier in this month. That is his fault. Take that, take that, take that. It's not really his fault. It is really just kind of like a cultural dynamic that that this country that was built on the backs of free labor and free ideas, and it's theft. It was a theft. This country was built on theft. And we can call it anything else you want to, but really and truly, that's what it was. And so you can't really talk about people who built all of their money, their currency hoards on theft. They're thieves. I don't care what else you call them, but you have to start there. Anyway, that being said, we're shifting that dynamic. We want to have different conversations because, you know, the world is held together by our agreements and our conversations about those agreements. That's what Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith is known to say. And so we're sitting here having this conversation, you know, about not only about politics, we're talking also about what will we have instead? You know what I'm saying? We can look at the world, we can look at the, you know, we were talking briefly about, what were we talking briefly about, Martin? Because we were going to break.
Tesla?
Oh, no, that's what we're talking about in break. No.
Michelle Obama. You were talking about Michelle, and I was like, you know, Michelle, both of them. I feel like it was too, but you know, that's
talk about
my takeaway.
You're talking about a lot of our energy goes toward arguing with people who want to stay ignorant, and we're going to have to make a decision that let them folks argue amongst themselves, and the folks who know better get up here and have these higher conversations and move. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not going to get people to stop saying COVID isn't real. You know, no matter how many pieces of evidence that you prove to them, full wear your mask, you know, you're not going to get people to change their mind. Because
my
they just
Apple
want to be
support
ignorant.
guy was going off about how fake it is, and I was like, basically his computer was slow or whatever, so he started to ask me questions and talk. I really just wanted to get off the phone, like report my problem.
My neighbor is like, I don't believe in all that. I haven't seen her around. I hope she all right. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got, what is it? Natural consequences. Sometimes.
And then the dude was in Texas. Texas reached 10,000 deaths. I'm like, how are you? Well, the media is reporting too many deaths. I'm like, how's the media? So I did everything I could to avoid a confrontation on the phone with this support person from Apple. And it's really,
how did
to
you
your
get
point,
into philosophy? Not philosophy.
he started talking, bro. I didn't initiate the conversation. He asked me where was I at and how was the weather, and I was like, you know, I'm in Philly, and then he's like, oh, you're good. You don't have the COVID crap, and I was like, well, right, exactly.
He needed to lose his job there on the spot.
But it's Texas, so you know, it's like you from Florida.
Because like that's the last place you start sharing your views, and it's recorded, I imagine.
Well, let me tell you, to not so good news. I guess like good news at the end. I stayed on the phone for 4 hours with them, and it wasn't 4 hours continuous. It was 3 different calls. What had happened was our remote stopped working, and they sent it. It's under warranty, so just send me another remote. They never sent the email that was supposed to initiate, because they're supposed to try to charge you for shipping and handling, but because it was in the warranty, what they should have done was got a supervisor. And so 3 people looked at my our support ID number and was like, we don't know why it never got to you. Oh wait, is this thing here? And every time they tried to go to past that thing, they really need to go to supervisor. So finally, I got one of us. The third call was a brother, and he stayed on the phone. We stayed on an hour and 25 minutes, so he got a supervisor. It's called chain of command call. They did a chain of command call, and he got a direct supervisor, and that direct supervisor was responsible for.
And which one of these people were talking about the COVID?
The first caller was a
the standard
not person of color.
The first dispatcher person, yeah.
Right.
But going back to what I was saying about that, like we don't have to spend our energy convincing people that like it is a hell loop. You know what I'm saying? You know, how much energy have we spent about how ridiculous our current administration is? How much energy have we spent trying to convince people of that?
Right.
I'm tired.
It's gone. It's
tired.
over.
Yeah, I'm tired.
You know what I'm saying? We're burnt out. And guess what? The people that want to believe he's amazing, that he is, you know, I'm not saying he's not sent by God, because we all are, but it's like people who want to think he's the second coming, whatever it is, they're going to think that no matter what he does. So why are we spending our energy on it? The people that just want to be racist or obtuse or ignorant or whatever they want to be, they just want to be that. The fact that, like, when the folks that go, Blue Lives Matter, you know that's not what has anything. All lives matter, you know that doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like the folks that need this energy are always going to need it, and it will never be enough. So just let them do them.
Folks that always want to be right about something, even when they're wrong.
I argue a little bit differently for those folks, though. I really do believe that there are people that genuinely, like the COVID thing, I think is, and the mask thing, I think is just people rallying against rules and regulation. But the other thing about All Lives Matter, it's really when you see some of the videos and you just hear some of the conversations. Even Oprah did this thing where she talked to Trump supporters, and Reddit did a thing where 30,000 Republicans who voted for Trump, who are not voting anymore for Trump, left a reason on Reddit why they voted for Trump. When you read those reasons, you realize that people just are in an ignorant place. I definitely agree with you. There's a bunch of people that are not ignorant, and they just are being opposite for the sake of being opposite, and it's a waste of time. But I would like to have conversation, if it's possible, to have a conversation with. So
you think that it is worth the energy to?
In a
I know that I have been in so many loops.
Because you did this, I think, on the show. You know, you had, or no, we said we're going to have the person that's not African American come on the show and talk about.
Yeah, because we did do it. I think. Well, not that, but having someone on that's not of African American descent to come on and continue that conversation that we were having with the 2 individuals about a couple months ago.
And I think that those are valid and valuable safe places to have a conversation. Envy, a safe place, not a conversation, not in Walmart, you know, and not at the church.
Not in Walmart, not in the parking lot of Walmart. Okay, really quick. Do you have thoughts about the DNC? I don't. Do you have thoughts about the DNC?
Yes, I definitely. Oh, we got to come back.
I mean, 1 second, 30 seconds.
No, we can't do it in 30 seconds.
No, you can't do it in 30 seconds. Even I can't do it in 30 seconds. You know.
Okay, so is this something that we want to bring to the Woo Woo Metaphysical Studio?
Actually, yes.
I think it's wealth. I think it's
yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We are a democratic republic in this show. Unlike this country. Anyway.
Yeah, your camera objects. Your camera's gone now.
Okay, so when we come back, Black Artist Story 365, a flashback Friday with Yvette Lee Bowser. Also, Dr. Ajima will be in the Woo Metaphysical Studio. We will open the Woo Metaphysical Studio with our little cute song.
Say too about it.
Yes. And we will talk about the art of being divine wealth as it pertains to our political.
And I have a question for both of you and Dr. O, that I asked in the meeting. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'll pose that question to y'all.
This is the Envy McKee Show. That's DJ Frosty Phoenix on the ones and twos. That's Martin the Shaman. I'm Envy McKee. This is the Envy McKee Show on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. We'll be right back.
Check out the Source lineup on Word Radio. Mondays, get ready for the rapping professor, Dr. Aaron Smith. On Tuesdays, it's Andrea Lawful Sanders. Then on Wednesdays, it's the Black Women's Leadership Council. On Thursdays, it's a second helping of Andrea Lawful Sanders. And on Fridays, it's Tiffany Bacon. Don't miss the Source. Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. and Fridays, 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Exclusively on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
Word Radio Digital Tip of the Week
with Stephanie Humphrey.
I'm your tech life expert, Stephanie Humphrey, and this is your Word Digital Tip of the Week. Did you know that as long as you have a cell phone that still works, you can call 911? Even if you don't have a phone plan for that particular smartphone, if you can turn the phone on and charge the battery, you can dial 911. However, there are some limitations. Since you don't have a service plan on the cell phone, the 911 operator won't be able to call you back if they need to. Also, depending on how old the phone is, it might not have the updated GPS technology that emergency responders would need to determine your location. But if you have an old phone laying around the house anyway, it's not a bad idea to keep it charged just in case of an emergency. Having another way to call 911 as a backup could come in handy because you never know when you might need it. Stay tuned to WURD for more tech tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
The Word Digital Tip of the Week is brought to you by Comcast NBC Universal.
Pico has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. Have an old working fridge or freezer in your garage or basement? Pico will pick it up, dispose of it responsibly, and give you a $75 rebate. That's right, $75. Plus, you can save as much as $150 a year on your energy bill by getting rid of it. Just schedule your pickup at pico.com/recycling or call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE today. Be sure your fridge or freezer is plugged in and working at time of pickup.
This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent Black Media. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
Envy's evolution
is the Envy McKee Show.
Hey, with Philly's own Kendrick, the family soul.
Hey, what's up? This is Kevin Carr.
Hey, this is Lady Alma.
This is Greg.
And Halana.
And we are the Woke Bays.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Genuine right here on the Envy McKee Show. Now, always stay tuned.
Join the Envolution exclusively on Word.
Levine House Star people, last month was Black History Month, and now it's officially Women's History Month. And because this is another Black Excellence episode of Black Artist Story 365, that means it's officially Black Women's History Month. Okay? In case you're new, the premise for this series goes a little something like this. Hit it! Black History Month is about celebrating Black excellence en masse throughout the month of February. But when February's little short self is over, does that mean we stop celebrating Black excellence? No. It's way too important to remember and recognize that Black excellence spans all genre and all months of the year, which is why we celebrate Black history 365 days a year. My name? You know my name. It's Envy McKee. And in this series, we explore the change makers, the outliers, and the visionaries within Black diasporic culture, past and present. We explore mostly the arts in this series, highlighting specific genres and the glorious Black folk who showed up to show out and take up space in a way that propels their art and the arts forward. From musicians and dancers to writers and their weird world-building selves to the finest of the fine artists, honey. The official name of this series is Black History Arts and Artistry 365.
But we go on ahead and call it Black Artist Story 365 because nobody except me is saying all them words. So, this month we're highlighting iconic Black women TV producers. Because ideas about Black culture that show up on our TVs aren't monolithically formed in a void, honey. They're produced, okay? Thank God for Black women producers. For real. Who are we honoring up this weekend, V? Great question, Star Class. None other than American television writer and producer, Yvette Denise Lee Bowser. Let's do a little Star People trivia, shall we? What 4 iconic Black shows is Yvette Lee Bowser best known for writing and or producing? A Different World, Living Single, Half and Half, and Hanging with Mr. Cooper. What series did she create that made her the first African-American woman to develop her own primetime series? Living Single. Okay, one more. True or false? Yvette Lee Bowser is a Philly homegirl. True. Star sis Yvette Denise Lee Bowser is a Gemini who lived in Philadelphia's Carroll Park neighborhood until age of 5 when her mother and she moved to California. Bowser graduated from Santa Monica High School in 1983. She attended with Holly Robinson Pete, who was a part of the Hangin' with Mr. Cooper cast, and later starred in For Your Love. Bowser also attended with her friend Lori Petty, whom she later cast in her sitcom Lush Life. After high school, she attended Stanford University, where she pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. We didn't get into sororities and fraternities during this season of Black Artist Story 365, but there is room at the end to talk about the rich culture that is Black sororities and fraternities in a future episode. So, Bowser started on A Different World in 1987 as one of a number of apprentices, rising in prominence in the production company over the years and eventually becoming a producer by the 1991-92 season. She left the show to take a position with Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Bowser created her own company, Sister Lee Productions, which produced or co-produced her later shows Living Single and Half and Half.
Through this journey of discovery.
She has said in an interview that she draws many of her characters and plots from her own and her friends' personal experiences. She has said, I just basically rip pages out of my diary to tell stories on TV. In the case of Half and Half, for example, she based the characters Mona, played by the iconic Rachel True, and Dee Dee, played by the iconic Essence Atkins, on herself and her older half-sister. The plot ideas came from her experiences as the youngest child in a blended family. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Living Single was the first primetime series created by a Black woman. It starred Queen Latifah, Kim Fields, Erica Alexander, Kim Coles, John Henton, and T.C. Carson. And it predated Friends. We're gonna have to do a Black Artist Story 365 on iconic Black shows on TV at some point for the culture. But that's not today. Did you know that the premise for the primetime series Friends was derived from Living Single? This became a trending topic on the Harriet Tubman internets in 2020 when Erica Alexander of Living Single had to remind David Schwimmer of Friends Living Single was the original and Friends was the knockoff. Okay? Speaking of Maxine Shaw, did you know the powers that be didn't want Maxine on the show? Shall? Let Yvette tell it.
I have to say that a moment that I felt unseen in this business was also kind of a pivotal and career-defining moment for me. And it was the moment when I got my first set of notes on the first show I created, Living Single. And they wanted me to remove the character of Maxine Shaw from the show. Oh, wow. Because she was unapologetically Black and female and fierce and all of the things that if I wasn't at that time, I wanted to be ultimately. And I knew that that would be a powerful force in the world, because I know that our art is, our art is our activism, and I knew that that voice had been missing. And I was told to take the character out of the show in order to get the show picked up. And even though I had everything to lose, I stood my ground and said to take Maxine Shaw out of the show is to take a big part of me out of the show, and I'd rather not do the show.
She went on to say in another interview, when she was ready to bounce, they was like, whoa now, wait a minute. And then they said, well, leave her in the show, but find a different way to have her in the show. They wanted me to limit her role, which I didn't really do, but I moved her out of the brownstone and across the street. I figured I get more comedy from her always being there but having her own place. It was a win-win, but it was the art of hearing the note behind the note and realizing there wasn't really a discussion to be had with them about how intimidated they were by the character of this black woman. I had no intention of toning her down at all. I made an adjustment, and the rest, as we say, is history. And so it is. Turns out star goddess Yvette Lee Bowser is gangster. Okay? Through her sisterly productions, Bowser has credits as writer, producer, or consultant on well-known TV productions that include Blackish, Soul Man, Happily Divorced, The Exes, Lipstick Jungle, and most recently, the award-winning and critically acclaimed Netflix series Dear White People. And most recently, there's a new star show in the wings called Run the World, which is also a comedy starring a cast of gorgeous black women. It's powerful to note that some of the shows that we grew up loving and emulating were actually FUBU, for us and by us. And that even though there were only a few of us behind the scenes in positions of power, there were iconic black women TV producers taking their seats at that table, often building whole new tables in order to hire us in these projects, in order to create black arts and artistry for all of us, and empowering all of us to represent and be represented 365 days a year for the culture. Thank you, Yvette Lee Bowser. So that's it for this week's episode of Season 2 of Black History, Arts and Artistry 365, aka Black Art Story 365, because nobody except me is saying all them words. My name is MV McKee. See you next week when we continue our Black Women's History Month series, honoring another iconic black woman TV producer. Who's next, you ask? Tune in next week to find out, yo. Or you can guess based on the clues from this episode. Peace and Levine Heil Star, people.
Another Flashback Friday of Black Art Story 365. I like listening back to our old episodes. Welcome back to the MV McKee Show. MV McKee, DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin the Shaman. Hi, soul, hi. And so, was that information, do you remember when that first came out? Do you remember all that we talked about with Yvette Lee Bowser, Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you able, when we did the beginning Star People trivia, were you able to answer any of the questions?
Yep.
You lying.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so great. So we will be opening the Woo Metaphysical Studio shortly, and we will be inviting Dr. Ajima on very shortly. But I want to continue the conversation that we were having earlier before the break when we were talking about the DNC. Where did Martin go? Is Martin back?
I don't know, is he?
I don't see him. Okay. So maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just open the Woo Metaphysical Studio right now. Oh, and I didn't even talk about the our Woo Metaphysical Book Club book either.
No, you didn't.
Maybe that's what we... Oh, there you are. We were looking for you. Okay. What happened? So maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just open... Yeah, maybe you should not have, play us back. So it is 8:14. And so we are going to open the Woo Metaphysical Studio with a cute gong. You ready? The Woo Woo Metaphysical Studio is now open.
Why when you do that, I think about sweet potatoes.
What is that? What is that? What
It
is
makes
that?
me think of a hot sweet potato. You know, you cut and slice into a hot sweet potato, and you smell the steam comes up. And it's like, woo, sweet potato.
You feel it.
I was gonna say it was one of those it's one of those lessons that like when certain things take you back to a memory that has nothing to do with
Nothing.
With that
Right,
thing.
right. Or does it? Because we did have a gong. We had a brass gong. My mother would hit that gong for dinner, and it had one of those xylophone. She hit it with not a metal, not a wood.
Yeah, the little thing.
With the xylophone, and it had that extra felt on it, like
a mallet. What is that
right,
called?
right. So, yeah, but it was just beautiful. So one day I said, let me hit this with some wood. And that gong was so loud, I did not know how, because it was a miniature gong you put on your mantelpiece. So I thought it was,
And your mom was like,
who hit the gong? Exactly. And I was like, food, dinner ready? Dinner ready? Vina, dinner ready? Like, no.
Like
your son is
Pavlov's
over there playing
dog.
with the gong.
Yeah, don't move the gong. Pavlov's, there you go. Pavlov's gong. There you go.
Dog.
Exactly. So that sweet potato. That was
Your
that sweet
mom had
potato.
you trained. Did you have sweet potatoes every night?
A lot, we had and it was in that casserole dish. They were cut up in the casserole dish, burnt edges a little bit. No mash, no marshmallow. She didn't believe in any sugar, so it was just sweet potato juice.
I love that you said. I love that you said she didn't believe in sugar.
No,
That's love. Well, that's love when you start naming the imperfections. Burnt just a little bit, right off the side of the edge of the pot. Burnt.
Right.
Crispy.
But that's what I grew up with. It was like you cook stuff that the edge, because who had to wash the dishes afterwards? It was me. So I was scrubbing for an hour with those Brillo pads
because of the burnt edges. Back to
Anyway, to the lesson.
down memory lane.
The wealth of the past, though. But
that's right.
That's
right. So this month shift prompt is the art of being divine wealth. And we, for the course of this month, the last several weeks, we have been working through the understanding that wealth is not strictly money. It can be, but we understand that there are lots of people that got lots of money that ain't wealthy, right? And so feeding off of the conversation that we had yesterday during Founders Day. You said, I am Terry Crews. The conversation we had yesterday with so many brilliant doctors who work in this realm for the Well and Woke panel that I
moderated.
Thank you. Moderated yesterday. Some of the conversations made you really put you in the space that wealth is really health, right? Wealth is really well-being. Money is just currency. It's more tactile than it is anything else, if you think about it. And I'm coming to that place.
Utilitarian. It's a utility.
Yes, thank you. It's a
utility that we, just like electricity. You don't go around lusting after electricity. Like,
right. And listen. What about the space where I read a meme that it said things that should be free: healthcare, what is it? Medicare, housing, food. I think that's
internet.
Well, I can find the meme.
And honestly, electricity, because with solar, you don't need to pay anybody. So
you don't need to pay anybody. So how do you feel about that? If you start to look at
so we're putting DNC question on hold until Dr. Jima gets here, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting on Dr. Jima. Did you try to reach out?
Oh, yeah, we can get her in a second. I will say, no, I'm serious. Like, before we do, in a second. However, in the comment
right
of
now,
the
I'm
video,
focused on my answer, Negro.
I do. That's very. Don't multitask when you don't have to, in the moment. Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez's comment in believe it was during at Chambers, in regards to a comparison of wealth or value. When she picked up an iPhone, and said an iPhone has a monetary value, different levels of value, but people's health is priceless. Someone's life to themselves is priceless. You'll be willing to pay anything for that phone, or pay that amount for that phone, but people will pay anything to heal their own lives, and that doesn't make sense that they don't have access to that very thing that should also be free.
Yes.
That's a valid point.
Yes. And so I found the meme. It says the 4 things on earth that should be free: food, a place to live, education, and Medicare.
And internet.
Well, the internet is on there.
Yeah, okay.
But it falls in line with just like we talked about utilities. You know what I'm saying? How we came up in a world where we literally nickel and dime people for everything. We nickel and dime people for everything. Banks can't stay afloat because they got to charge all kinds of crazy fees for no good reason. It can't be just about, us holding our money in a space. They got to charge us for everything, right? You don't have $100,000 in the bank. Well, we're going to charge you $7, a month.
Oh my gosh! Can I tell you? I'm not
right.
going to name the place, but I just know that $7 disappears.
Right, every month. There's the black-owned bank. One United or whatever. I did have an account with them. I did put a baseline amount of money in there, but their fees are $10 every month. So if you don't keep adding, you lose $10 every single month.
They need to come
Not coming at their neck, but I'm just saying that's a lot of money.
But then that goes with the conversation about paying what something is worth, like a small business. Like say you would get a sandwich. A sandwich from a multi-billion-dollar company is like $5 less than on a dollar menu. I'm not necessarily coming at anyone's neck, Donald. But someplace you might get that same sandwich, better quality. How much is this one? Oh, about 15.
9. Yeah, 9.
9. Because I inflated it a lot.
We're talking about though utilities though.
No, but I am getting to that point about
$79 a month. You know what I'm
for
saying?
faster service.
For faster service, yeah.
Why is internet $79 a month? I like you said, like utilities, energy. What are we paying for? Everyone should have access to energy. People should not be
because the sun comes up every day.
Every day.
And you just need a panel pointing at the sun.
We pay a lot of these companies to pollute the planet. That's
not to mention wind. That's another concept.
Right.
So
right, especially with fire tornadoes.
So when we start looking at and this falls in line to the conversation we were having earlier. When we're in this hell loop of just trying to survive, just trying to keep food on the table, just trying to keep a roof over our head, just trying to keep the lights on, when you have to do these grindy jobs.
Just trying to get an education.
Just trying to get a decent education, because folks ain't educated. Lots of folks going through school though. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like when we really think of wealth, we look at the baseline for what people who have a lot of money, they are able to clothe their children and themselves in a really nice, space. They are able to feed, they have the best food, they're able to have the best education, they're able to have, the best health care, the best of everything. So they're not worried about those baseline survival things. And so, when people say everybody's got the same 24 hours, no, they don't. Some people got to take the bus. You know what I'm saying? Some people got to sit in traffic. Some people don't have private planes or helicopters. They got to go through TSA. Everybody doesn't have the same 24 hours. And so when you make the baseline, when we have the conversation, we're all starting from the same equitable place. Now we can start talking about, what we're here to build. But when you listen, I'm just trying to feed my kids. I don't have the energy to, I don't have the funds either to worry if my food is organic or conventional. The fact that we have to have that conversation, the difference between organic and conventional, because organic is what's supposed to be conventional. When they've degraded the food so horribly that they have to they have to create something that's actually the way you're supposed to do it. Do you get what I'm saying? We keep having these weird, the upside down conversations where the baseline should be that.
So surprisingly good, and it's good for you. Ooh.
Where you have to put all natural on a product. It's supposed to be all natural, fool. Like why is the baseline like crap? Like that's what I'm talking about. So we're gonna have to reframe this conversation and switch it around, because if we keep arguing about things that should be the basics, we're not going to get where we're designed to go.
How does this tie into the DNC squad? Actually, we'll tell you after the
When we
break.
Well, when you're talking about wealth and you're talking about making these kinds of changes, you know, politics is important. So what are the phone lines, Eric?
215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. I feel abused.
The doors to the Woo Metaphysical Studio are open. Dr. Jima is in the building, and when we come back, we will reintroduce her. We will have this conversation about the art of being divine wealth, and we're talking specifically about making space. Are we making room for what we actually want? You know what I'm saying? And what's our vision plan here? This is the Envy McKee Show. I'm Envy McKee. DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin the Shaw Man, Dr. Jim. Right back.
Weather and traffic to keep you informed for your drive home. In the happy hour with Sincerely Sarita. Monday through Thursday, 4 till 7 p.m. Right here on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Seniors, does your doctor regularly reach out to check on you? Can you walk into your doctor's office and see them if you need to? Do you have your doctor's cell phone number, and can you call them anytime, day or night? At Dedicated Senior Medical Center, their only specialty is caring for seniors. Dedicated makes it easy to get the primary care you deserve. Doctors spend more time with patients than the doctors you may be used to. They offer telehealth visits, help you get your medications, and even make sure you get to your appointments. If your doctor isn't treating you like family, it's time to say yes to Dedicated Senior Medical Center. Call Dedicated Senior Medical Center today to schedule a visit and find out what you're missing. Call 267-443-1900. That's 267-443-1900. Appointments are available now.
Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
In the fight against COVID-19, we are grateful to those treating disease on the front lines every day. This is Lorena Marshall-Blake, Vice President of Community Affairs at Independence Blue Cross, reminding us that there are also others keeping us strong and healthy. In our neighborhoods and communities, we see essential workers in post offices, sanitation, and public transportation. Still others in food markets, delivery services, restaurant takeout, and more. Throughout the region, volunteers are organizing food donations, assisting those in need, and arranging safe visits and connection for the underserved and seniors. Neighbors, all essential for our physical and mental well-being in this challenging time. For more, visit ibx.com/COVID-19. Together, they are helping us to beat COVID-19.
Have you always wanted to learn an interdimensional language but not sure where to begin? Those basic language apps not offering the languages you really want to learn? Good news! Now there's Staretta Stone, offering languages like Tuastai and the Elders language taught by native speakers so you and your friends can blurt out and up-level your vibrational frequency at the same time. For more information, read The Stellar Trilogy by Envy McKee, available at envymckee.com and wherever books are sold like Amazon. And tune into The Envy McKee Show, Friday nights 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 900 AM, 96.1 FM WURD, and worldwide on WURDradio.com and the Word app. Join the involution.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to the Envy McKee Show.
Welcome back to the Envy McKee Show. Envy McKee, DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin the Shaman, Dr. Shima.
Ooh, wow. Thank you. Can I get that introduction every time?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So we're in the Woo Metaphysical Studio, and we are talking about our shift prompt, the art of being divine wealth. We have, on the first Friday, we have defined wealth, and we came to the conclusion that wealth is not money. Wealth can include having currency, but wealth is not money.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And last week we looked at wealth from the standpoint of going back into our roots, our arsenal of our ancestry, of looking at, we did conjure, we did roots, we did manifesting, we talked with Empress Naima, and we talked about, getting back into our power, of looking at the world and our place in it is not a space of powerlessness, but actually stepping into our power by knowing who and whose we are, looking at our ancestry. What did our ancestors do? A lot of our ancestors lived through the most atrocious of times, and yet here we are. That's a testament to how strong and how powerful they were. And so looking at those roots, we did last week. And so this week, I've been feeling a little run down, and not run down from when we looked. Remember last month we did the art of being rest, and we looked at all the different ways that we can be rested. And I think I'm a little bit emotionally drained. I think I'm being pulled in a lot. Creatively too, I could probably use a little, pouring into, but I really feel like it's more of an emotional thing for me. I feel like I have a lot of energy going out and not as much going in. And so, the world of COVID is a very special place. There's a lot of information coming at us every different way. And so I just feel light. I feel really tight. And so when I was sitting in meditation this morning and even last night, I felt like the information couldn't pour in because I was a little bit too close. I get the visual of like my soul is really, really big and my body is really, really small. And so you got this really big, you know what I'm saying? Like this little tiny room, but there's like this really big presence in the room going, oh my Lord, can you open a window? And so that's kind of like the imagery I have in my awareness of my, my soul self. And what came to me right before the show, when I was sitting in meditation, I was praying for the show, Spirit was like, Space, you need some more room. You need to make some more room for what's coming. Because the vessel that you're in right now, it feels tight, but you got infinite room on the inside, so you're going to have to make some more room. And so we're looking at wealth from that standpoint. Do we have enough room for what's coming? Can we hold all this good that is unfolding? And the reason how the DNC kind of fits into that space is that's the biggest this is the biggest platform that we're working on. Like, politics is top of mind on every single body in this, probably in this world.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're really starting to look at how our politics impacts our everyday lives in a way that we didn't think it did before. Like, there was a lot of, you know, that real hyperbole, and, you know, folks like to get real hotep on it, you know, all the ways that we diminish, you know, our place in how this country functions. All the ways, not to say that systems in place don't also diminish how we function, but they try to diminish it on purpose so that we don't feel like we have a place here. You know what I'm saying? But people don't work that hard to keep you from your civic duty if it wasn't important. So you can take it what you need to, right? Like, people don't put energy into things that is not important for you. If it didn't matter, nobody would say anything. I vote no, and I don't care, but it matters. They are trying to break apart the whole postal service so that you don't get to vote. Come on, son. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's silly. Anyway, so Dr. Jim is in the building. We have Martin the Shaman. I think he's in the building. We have Eric in the building.
Yep, here.
I am Envy. And so we're going to talk about this. First of all, who saw the speeches from the Democratic Convention?
Eric and I.
A good portion of them.
I saw Obama's. I listened to his. I listened to it after the fact. I don't catch it during live, but I listened to. I think Obama's was the only one that I listened in the entire. I got that snippet where, at the end, she was like, "It is what it is," like where she just basically stepped out of, like, I felt like the performance of what she was talking, and then like, and let me tell you in real talk, like, this is why you need to vote this November. So I've been selective about who I've been listening to. I listened to Kamala's as well. I'm just like, for people's fire and to get fired up. So
I don't know that this is the moment. I mean, it should be the moment maybe, but I don't know that people. What are you going to say, Eric?
So I was going to get to two thoughts. Another thought is that I found surprising that a Republican spoke at the Democratic National Convention.
Who was it?
I don't remember the names. I think it was an upset in the idea.
Christy Whitmer.
Christy Whitman? Christine Whitman?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Whitmer.
Okay, Christine Whitman. That's dope.
And Colin Powell, I think, also spoke.
Yeah.
John McCain's wife, widow, Cindy McCain. Yeah.
And after a while, it's an idea that when people start crossing those lines of beliefs and say, you know what, after this whole time, I can't even front to you, I'm going to vote this way, even though I've been known to vote this way, because at this point it's becoming bigger than this circle here that we're talking about, liking red or blue, elephants or donkeys.
It's about our humanity.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's about our humanity. Mm-hmm.
And the question I have for you two is, with this being historic, and I think it's a part of the change, a part of wealth, is the wealth of the black woman. To at this point, not to devalue, but before the past 4 years, over 8 years, we had a black male president. Now we're standing on the possibility and the hope of a black female vice president, in which, Lord forbid, Biden might have stepped down, a black female president. But overall, this is still continuing the idea of the 2016 election that Hillary Clinton pushed, that women can do. But now a black woman is doing, like, she's the nominee for vice president. How does that make you both view it from a black woman's perspective and in the wealth standpoint as black women?
I'm going to let you go first, Ajima.
I mean, I think I've always believed in the wealth of black women. So for me, it's like, this is overdue. It's like, yes, thank you, finally. And for me, it's more so, Envy, you and I were talking about this offline the other day. It's like, I'm more aspirational, excited about what's to come, what she's going to do. because I think she'll be able to own the record that's going to essentially dog her, I think, in the process. And I can feel that energy. To your point about, you have this energy that's in a box that can't be contained, right? I kind of feel like the same for this moment. And so I'm just very sort of anticipatory of that. And then, Eric, I think you had a second question that I forgot in terms of.
What was your two-part question?
Well, just overall, I think overall it's the weight of it. It's the value of a black woman, a black woman vice president, and possibly president. Lord forbid things happen. Someone has to step down due to certain things, but she is in the slot to be the next person who is the leader of the free world in the case of something unfortunate and hopefully does not happen.
So yeah, if I can tie it back to our shift prompt, right, and this idea of creating space for divine wealth. So if we recognize the value that Black women, Kamala specifically, brings, right, are we ready as a country politically to create space for that wealth that she's going to bring? I know I'm ready.
That's the
right?
question.
I have been ready for a while, right? And it's a matter of like that's what's going to unfold. I think, Evie, to your point, like to the Postmaster General and his, working with Trump to literally, institutionalize voter suppression. I think that's a sign that people recognize the wealth and the value of her candidacy and what she represents, and as a Black woman, and also as as an Asian woman as well. And so you see again those typical forces that align to actually attempt to restrict the power of that wealth, right? To contain it,
to lessen the space.
Yes,
right. And so, like, this is really a meta conversation that we're having.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what happens when you lessen the space of things? Like, how did you feel when you have like all this emotional energy, but you don't have the space to release it? Like, what's the side effect of that?
Yeah, this is big. This is big. I'm going to say that I don't know. Like I'm always surprised at the lengths people will go to hold on to their pain, their trauma, their past. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about old brain, new brain here. We're talking about creating something new, something that has never happened before. And how do you prepare for a space you've never been in? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's the trick. Like, we're always going through growing pains. There's always going to be a growing edge. There's always going to be, the bottom of one mountain is the top of another, and the top of one mountain is the bottom of another. Like, it's infinity, our growth potential. Mm-hmm. And when you look at, the strength of Black women, the fact that Black women, particularly in this country, are the most educated group of people of everybody. We got the most of all of the degrees, you know what I'm saying? And that's by no accident. It is a survival technique, right? To be educated, because we don't know if we're going to be coupled. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's an interesting time that we're in, because I do believe that we're ready. I believe I'm ready. I believe that Black women are ready. I believe that, lots of people look to Black women to be the saviors of all of it, even at the same time that we are being diminished. I think that it's going to be an interesting dynamic looking at how, how interestingly Kamala is going to be received. Because I'm thinking about, as a Black woman with a white husband, right? That's one dynamic. But there are lots, I don't know what the numbers are, but there are plenty of plenty of Black women with white husbands, right? And so thinking of Kamala as going into a relationship with this country as a white husband, as a white nation, as a patriarchal kind of entity. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like you get where I'm going with this?
I do. And where my mind jumped to is like, her husband is going to have to be like well, I forgot what the technical title is, but
the first dude.
Yeah, let's go
the first gentleman or something.
Yeah, let's go with that. But also the dynamic that you talk about, particularly given this country's history as it concerns the construction of race, right?
Come on.
In some sense, you can say it originally started with a white man and a black woman.
Yes, it did.
Black women was literally criminalized, and slavery was tied to just the matrilineal, power of black women, right?
Come on now.
I'm pulling.
Somebody's gonna write their thesis on this.
Oh,
You heard it here first, huh?
to a point that she is Jamaican and Indian.
Indian.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's like Caribbean all up and through.
That's
like
what I was,
Caribbean. Yeah.
Right.
So that's tied into that too.
Yeah.
So think about that. Think about that dynamic. So she might be less of a threat to this patriarchal whiteness. You know what I'm saying? If we look at this country as a white man, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
She might be less of a threat to that. And that
in the same way, Barack was less of a threat.
But Barack is still considered a black man. You get what I'm saying? Like black men, there's a certain kind of energy that whiteness has specifically towards black men. Not to say that it's not there for white women, for black women too, but there's a different energy because maybe it's the womanhood added to the blackness.
I think it's the matter of the black male being. It's almost like when you have an opponent, and what's the word I'm looking for? You underestimate your opponent. You won't underestimate the black male because you are also a male. I see you as an equal weight, but I still see you below me. Whereas a black woman, I'm not even thinking about you in my weight class, and you are already surpassing me on points that I didn't even think about, or I think I had. So you that are hitting above the perceived weight class I have set for you. I'm not thinking about you until you've already passed me, succeeded me, and it's too late, man. Too late, my guy. Honestly,
That's interesting. This is interesting. We have to pay bills, yeah?
Yeah, we do.
So we're going to go pay these bills. When we come back, we're going to continue on this conversation. What are the phone lines, Eric?
215. I'm not going to read it that way this time. 215-634-8065. Toll free 1-866-361-0900. And you can comment on Facebook Live over on Word TV on Facebook and on YouTube to join in on the conversation. And I see a couple of lines lit to join the conversation about how the DNC affects wealth of the world as a whole.
Yeah, and really we're looking at the DNC. We're looking at the political structures, not so much the DNC, but our political dynamic.
Yeah, it's valuable.
But this is really about are we prepared for what's coming? You know what I'm saying? Like COVID was the to lay everything down, but are we prepared to build something new? Are we prepared to look at this country in a different way? Are we prepared to have someone different at the helm? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we ready to make space for this good that's coming? Or are we going to keep fighting? Are we going to keep being the big soul in the little body, like, open a window, please? You know what I'm saying? This is the Envy McKee Show. I'm Envy McKee, DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin the Shaman, Dr. Najima, and you. Be right back.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
Using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
On Saturday, August 22nd, the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium will come to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community Beit El Afia Mosque at 1215 West Glenwood Avenue in North Philadelphia to provide free tests for anyone in the community experiencing symptoms. Council President Darrell Clark is sponsoring this event in partnership with the Black Doctors Consortium. It runs from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Their mission is to provide COVID-19 testing to African Americans. Data shows that African Americans and Hispanics make up a disproportionately large percentage of COVID-19 cases. If you have COVID-19 symptoms, fever, chills, cough, a sore throat, shortness of breath, or fatigue, come out Saturday between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. to the mosque at 1215 West Glenwood Avenue and get tested.
Open calendar. What's my schedule looking like?
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an emergency flash flood between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. I'm busy then. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Disasters don't plan ahead. But you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait, communicate. Visit readypa.org. Brought to you by readypa.org, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to the Envy McKee Show.
Welcome back to the Envy McKee Show. Amel LaRue, Philly's own. We claiming her.
I was like, really? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was like, really?
We claiming her.
Okay.
We claiming her.
Okay.
She worked with so many Philly people. She went to she went to School of the Arts. Because she went with Amir.
I got you. Okay.
She's a Philly homegirl. Yep. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yes. So welcome back to the Envy McKee Show. DJ Frosty Phoenix on the ones and twos. We have Martin the Shaman. Dr. Ajima. She changed her shirt. She got all these Envy McKee Show shirts.
Fan.
Yes.
Super fan.
Blow, blow, blow,
Yeah.
blow,
There you
blow. I am Envy McKee, and we are talking all of this month the art of being divine wealth. And we've already come to the conclusion that wealth is not money. If you're just joining the show, welcome, and you're late. But we were talking before the break. We've been talking about the DNC a little bit in our political framework, and Eric asked this really profound question about how Dr. Ajima and I feel as Black women. The idea that there could be a Black woman president in the next several, in the next several, I'm going to say cycle, but
that or even a sense of looking forward, maybe 2024.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Folks seem really excited about Michelle Obama running for president.
I need her to not. She just needs to
she was
just
like,
not.
listen.
Right.
She was like, try it. Don't come for me less than send for you. And she said, I did not send for you. I do not. She said, politics, y'all are crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it feels crazy. Like our whole, did any of you watch Hamilton? Did you get to watch the Hamilton yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So did you know that the way the presidential race was set up, that if you ran for president, there ended up being, I'm going to say it was a two-party system then too, but whoever the runner-up was automatically vice president. So you had, you had the president and the vice president, but you just ran for president, and whoever the runner-up was the automatic vice president. So what that did was, right, what that did was it forced the two parties to work together. They had to. Yeah. You didn't have to and Thomas Jefferson actually worked to change that because he crazy. But the reality is, if we had that, we wouldn't have such a lockstep when it's not like our whole party is now running everything and our whole party.
Now not to only kick back to that point, could you imagine a situation where I'll just only use this recent election as a point? If Trump had won and Clinton was his vice president. She would have. We just wouldn't.
Eviscerated that man. Eviscerated that man. Listen, do you understand?
In the meetings talking about no. No.
But that's the thing. When you have to share power in that way, we probably would not have had, if that were the rule, we would probably be further along in our evolution because we would have been forced to work together. And when we build something, everybody builds something. And so it's not like I have these ideals and they have these ideals. So because I don't believe in these ideals, which are, you know what I'm saying? It's not any of that. You don't tear down what you built. It's like everybody is building together. And so everybody's invested in what is built. And we would have had 200, 300 years of working together and making it make sense and making it work. Allegedly, right? We would have had to mature emotionally and spiritually as a, you know, as a country, because that's hard work to work with people you don't like. That's hard work, you know, sharing the power with people you don't like or people you don't agree with. And you would have to come to conscious communication.
And to think it would have been, and that was even a point that the DNC also brought up, is that they used Joe Biden and John McCain's friendship as another foundation of saying you can cross party. Friendship didn't matter for the party lines. That John McCain trusted Joe Biden, why don't you? That type of thing. Not here to have that conversation.
I did
about
not mean to roll my eyes that loudly.
But to that point about you saying, I guess the maturity, if you will, to discuss that you can, at the end of the day, have disagreements but still be cordial or friends, even at minimum. So for you to say that about
I agree.
Sharing the power.
And I feel like that's how it should be. And I feel like the way the parties have turned out now, where they're kind of, one party is really evangelical and really quasi-Jesus-y, and then you have one party that is trying to be all-inclusive, but both of them are really flawed fundamentally.
They're all made up of, guess what? Humans.
Right. And I think that's the part that we forget. And I also think that by trying to make this country a Christian nation, I think that, well, a Christian nation, and when you call, you know, Republicans conservative when they're not really into conserving anything, let's be specific. I feel like all of it's a misnomer. It's just a way, it's just an identifier. It's just a way to say I'm this and you're that.
Categorizing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's tribal.
There's liberal Republicans and there's conservative Democrats, which used to be, that's just a Democrat then, was a conservative Democrat. Someone who wants to keep it a new way but trying to embrace a liberal, like, anything I'll get by if I have to accept things that I might not necessarily believed in. Having an open mind is believed to be associated with being a Democrat versus a Republican having a closed, tunnel vision point of view.
There's also like this false dichotomy in binary.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think that's also really troubling. It doesn't allow for enough diversity of voices.
Yeah.
Like, I think of like AOC and her progressive caucus that's growing within the Democratic Party. It's like the whole model is just predicated on just people, as you know, to your point about from Hamilton, to forcing people into like these divisive camps and I think that allows for the polarization of our politics.
Yes.
And the labeling and the branding to say like, oh, if you're, to Eric's point, if you think a certain way, then you're automatically this. Well, wait a minute. What about the beauty of like variation and nuance? And I think it goes back to your point about these containers that they're just so finite and it doesn't allow for like growth whatsoever. And I think what ends up happening is that it's so institutionalized in our political structure that no, we don't know how to create space for divine wealth.
How dare you break my foundation?
But also think about this. Think about how rotten the running for any of these offices is. Like, think about the level of rotten that it, like how the kinds of ads that they place, the kinds of conversations that people have, you know, the back and forth, it gets really nasty. If you knew that at the end of this, you were going to have to work with that person every day on policy, that would change, I think. If you looked at the where the money goes, because right now this is like the lottery. Some people win and some people don't, and then what happens at the end of it? But if if there was not money invested in winning, if there, you know what I'm saying, if everybody kind of moves to the next level, you know, at the end somebody's going to be vice president. It changes probably the role of vice president. It makes that role even more powerful, but it also changes the power structure of what people are willing to do to get to president. Right. It's not this concentrated idea that I am the king of the world. It's not that.
Yeah, not what we have now.
Not what we have now. So I guess the conversation now is going towards, as we're talking about the art of divine wealth and making space, you know, and having a vision for what's next. Do we have calls?
We have two. We're going to break. I do want to throw in one thing about continuing that last bit of the DNC and how I view the structure and the Democratic Party as a whole and what it represents moving forward, which goes into the idea of wealth, continuing the conversation I don't think I got to yet.
Okay, well, we're going to do that. Those of you who are holding, stay there. We hear you. We know that you're there. We're going to get your call when we come back. Those of you on Facebook Live, you are welcome to leave your comment, your question in the Facebook Live, your comment, whatever it is. Eric will read it on the other side. This is the MV McKee Show. That's DJ Frosty Phoenix. That's Dr. Jima. Martin the Shaman is somewhere. I'm MV McKee. We'll be right back.
Get your money straight. Get my money right. With Solomon Jones and Akbar Hassan. Fridays on Wake Up with Word. 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. Hosted by Solomon Jones. Exclusively on Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app. The Word Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on Word Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the Word Radio newsletter.
We will never know how many of our friends and family members didn't get COVID-19 because we followed safeguards. We'll never know that number. This is Dan Hilferty, CEO of Independence Blue Cross, with a simple reminder of how much good we do for others when we protect ourselves. We'll never know how many lives we save because we wear masks, wash our hands frequently, and keep social distance. We'll never know exactly who we help, who we save when we take protective steps each day. We'll only know one thing for certain, that we did all we could to save people from the effects of a pandemic with the potential to overwhelm the region. And that's a nice thing for us to live with. Thank you all. For more on what you can do, visit ibx.com. Together, we are beating COVID-19.
Home of the Happy Hour. With Sincerely Sarita. This is Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at Forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
Envy's evolution is the Envy McKee Show.
Hey, with Philly's own Kindred, the family soul.
Hey, what's up? This is Kevin Carr.
Hey, this is Lady Alma.
This is Greg.
And Halana.
And we are the Woke Bays.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Genuine right here on the Envy McKee Show. Now, always stay tuned.
Join the Envolution exclusively on Word.
I'll be just fine. There are no real scars. I'll heal in no time. The phone's been ringing and ringing and ringing off the hook. I knew it wasn't you. I didn't bother to look. Oh, how I hoped you would call, but I just dismissed the thought. Oh well, how silly of me to think this brings me and girly to long walks and long talks and long kisses and these things take time.
Yeah, that brother, since y'all turned my attention to him, I think I knew he could sing before, but gosh darn, that brother can carry a note.
Titus Burgess on the Envy McKee show. I'm Envy McKee.
Titus is something else.
What I said you, Martin the Shaman, Dr. Jima, Titus Burgess. At some point, he's going to be on this show.
No, for real.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, let us put that on our altars that we're going to have Titus on this show, and we are going to cut up and laugh and giggle and have him sing live.
Keep it PG? Because Titus is not PG.
Yeah, we'll tell him.
Well, he's going to have to self-edit.
Yeah, we got to tell him.
He's gonna have to self-identify as PG.
Right. So before the break, we have been talking. We've been talking on this show about making room for the good that we want, creating the space for the room that we want. We have been talking kind of lightly about the Democratic National Convention that was this week, talking about Kamala Harris. As vice president, talking about kind of like the whiteness of this country and this meta way that having a black woman as vice president is kind of like reminiscent of how this country started.
Right.
And also about how things have changed. Like, it used to be that when you ran for president, the runner-up was vice president. And I wonder if that had stayed the same, how different, what different of a country we would have lived in. It could go both ways. Like, it could be so much better or it could be so much worse. But, we're just talking. But Eric, you wanted to add something, and then we have some calls.
That could be so petty. Could you imagine? People could be really petty before petty was even a solid word. I mean, petty would still become a word.
I think people are tired. I think to a certain extent, what you're hearing from people is they're tired of the petty. They're tired of the minute.
I'm talking about before we got tired of it. We're talking about bills not passing legitimately because your second in command was like, no.
Right.
No.
But
because the vice president is also like the head of the Senate, right? That's the person.
Like, she's gonna be wielding that gavel, and so I heard what you guys were talking about when it came to about black women's wealth and her value. I think this time around, we didn't really activate or utilize Barack's wealth, like what he represented. It accidentally happened. Kids started doing better in school, but it wasn't intentional. So to Eric's point, I think that only works, Eric, if black women intentionally, and I don't know if AKAs could do this. Deltas would do it, but I don't know if the AKAs, they're a little bit more bougie. They're a little bit more quiet at how they move. They move behind the scenes.
Let me tell you something about them alpha AKA. She's a Howard AKA. That's a little different. I feel like y'all need to give that the proper.
But I haven't seen it. I'm waiting.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Well, I'm at you categorizing it though. Like,
listen to what I'm saying. I did not pledge. I am not a part of this ecosystem. But I do know one thing: the conversations that have been had about people who pledged they call them single chapters or something.
Yes,
she's an alpha. She like that. How it all began. So she's not just an AKA.
Right.
She's Alpha Chapter, AKA Howard University.
Got it.
Do you get what I'm saying? In the 80s.
Again, Envy, what I'm saying to you is
the 80s.
Right. And so my concern, to Eric's point, I think, is that if it was for the black women, he made a statement about women versus women. And I think that the select few will benefit from her position and will know how to monopolize and utilize that. But for black women as a whole, I hope this time around, intentional wealth creation. I don't mean wealth money. We're talking about spirit,
value, self-worth.
So our show, right. I think it's definitely the value will go up, but will there be an intentional, will books be written? Will documentary, to your point, Avery, how many of her class, of not class, but of her cohort?
That's what I was
her
trying
fellow
to tell
alum.
You.
Right.
She was like one of 5. Everybody didn't make it.
Or fellow almost alum, almost alum of this institution.
And so I think there's a lot of stuff that could be, a whole line of things could be done behind that when she takes office.
Yeah. To that point, and thank you, Martin, for that. The lineup that to think that, and I'm not even trying to be pessimistic, to think that 100% of every black woman or black individual or anybody saw the inspiration in the particular person in power. There are cities that have black mayors that don't get that same oomph.
San
You know what I'm
Francisco
saying?
was saved by a black woman.
So
their COVID numbers have gone down. They were low. They stayed low. Nobody talks about Mayor London. You very rarely you hear Lightfoot.
Well, we did. Didn't we touch on Mayor London? Didn't we touch on him like last week? Because he did a TED talk, or was that a different mayor? No, it was
that was
Cali.
Stockton. That
Yeah,
was,
Stockton, California.
Yeah.
But the idea that this particular ticket isn't necessarily the answer to make the decisions, but the hopeful answer to help lay the foundation of change for the next people like AOC, to lay the foundations for people to make change. I don't think so. I mean, I know Martin, you're making a face. I'm not saying that it's something that will be embracing. I just feel like it would be something that would lay the soil in the bed for people to say you can possibly plant some things.
Ethnicity president, every single one. There needs to be a Native American. There needs to be someone of the Latinx
indigenous
diaspora. There needs to be someone of the African diaspora. There needs to be every single thing that you can think of. There needs to be all done presidents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so did you finish your thought, Eric?
Yeah, just that my faith in the wealth of this ticket would bring possible growth wealth to the next generation of what we're looking for in those politics that people aren't, to Martin's point, so frustrated with.
What are we willing? Let me ask this question: what are we willing to become? Because we cannot have anything. That's a spiritual principle. We cannot have anything that we are not willing to become. So, what are we willing to become? To have this kind and just society, a world that works for everyone, to have what we say that we want, all this wealth that we say we're preparing for. What are we willing to become? Let's take our call.
All right, so we got Brother Tim from South Philly. What's going on, Brother Tim?
Thank you so much for your patience, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We had laid out this foundation. Thank you so much, Brother Tim. What's your question or comment?
Indeed, I'm a Lincoln Kappa, and we call Lincoln, Howard, Cheney, Morgan, and Penn the triangle. We're all on each other's campus. And everything on this campus is black. Like everything on Dell State campus and Howard's campus is black and Cheney's campus is black. So I'm going to tell you that the core of her is black, and I'm a Kappa. And she is an AKA from Howard.
All right.
Come on now.
Not only is she an AKA from Howard, but she's a Kappa sweetheart. So I'm telling you that we can pull from this young lady from so many facets of life. And with so many thoughts and ideas, because she's married to Caucasian, her mother was from India, her father's Jamaican, which makes her black, and her experiences in Oakland. So when you put all this stuff together, I say to people that we're going to protect this woman. In other words, I got something someone sent me on my phone that talked about a relationship that she had with Willie Brown. And in the article, it referred to Joe and the Ho. And you know what?
I'm familiar with that.
Anybody, a black missionary, anybody talk about a black woman like that.
Come on.
And I remember when Hillary Clinton and Trump were trying against each other. And he was pushing up on the stage. Guess what? They're not going to push that woman around on the stage. And no black man should let that happen. And she's qualified to win the office because of her experience. Now, you may have some problems with policy with her, but name calling, that's not going to happen. We could talk about it because she could be made to be better because she never, they act like she's already been elected. She has to be elected first and see what she's done.
Yeah, Lord forbid, but we can hope that those numbers will look right in November, Brother Tim.
Well,
they're gonna look right, or they're gonna burn this thing to the ground.
Those are the things that black men and black women do. Everything we say we do, and she's gonna be one to do it. We're gonna help get her there. We in this together, Ben.
Appreciate it. I think I did have one question for you, Brother Tim, as far as protecting her, and the question escapes me, but it was along the lines of a point you made for whom she represents and the stock that she does represent. Well, first off, I guess my question is: Do you definitely see that this can lead to like a better future for Americans, not just black people, for Americans having Kamala. And the thing, and I think that's what I remember, that people hold things against her, like same thing with Biden holding certain things against her, her choices as AG in California, holding past decisions against this person or certain views against this person to make us believe that that person has that view as a whole, that that's all they are. There's one decision, one or two or few decisions that they made in a particular job title.
Well, let me tell you like this. I think the more that you know her, the better it becomes to understand what's going on, about where she's going and where we have to be. People, if you remember in 1984 when Jesse Jackson ran, and then he ran again 4 years afterwards, Louis Farrakhan said, we have a relationship with Jesse Jackson. The first thing he provided for Jesse Jackson was security. He said, here's a man here that's running for the highest office in the land. He's black. He's going to need security. Now, as time went on, people in the establishment liked the relationship they had, and he made a statement about folks, and Jesse was told to repudiate Farrakhan. But take a lesson from it. And we're going to, when we go to this, the agendas that we have, I'm pretty sure you have one, sister, with the brothers that are with you. And let's put on the agenda what our agenda is and see if we can give it to her, and let's work from there. Let's work this thing and make it right.
Rule number one, when she is elected to office, right, we understand that we're voting and we're electing her. We understand that, right?
Yep.
We'll make sure that the fruit of Islam shows up everywhere she shows up. Do you understand the level? Woo! Just the optics of that. Where everywhere she goes to give a speech, you have the FOI just chilling.
and Greeks.
Right?
Yo. But thank you, Brother Tim, for that.
Thank you,
call,
Brother Tim, for that.
Definitely.
For that call. We have another call.
Yeah, we have Rosalind from Kensington. What's going on?
Yes.
What's up?
Praise
Welcome.
the Lord. I'm a little nervous, but I am a member.
Girl, you fine.
And everything going on with the station, I've been pushing it since I moved down. I've been to Haiti, Trinidad, Jamaica, Hawaii, everywhere. No places like Philadelphia. I'm the last great-grandma out of 7. I got a whole herd out there. Pastor Wallace was my pastor. I missed my members. But with this station has educated us. Yeah, bipolar, schizophrenic. Oh, what about Trump? What about Congress? The thing is, we have to come out and make a thing, especially with a black woman. If you look on the back of a $20 bill, they got her in a little cage with thing going around. But that's said be done. The thing is, we got to go out. You remember when we had the polls? We was there to tell them what to do, whether you was educated or not. John Street, Milton Street, Wilson Good, Brenda. I came up with all of them, and I'm only 61. It's a must to support our people. Now, when you talk about the black woman and the white man, my mom told me nothing couldn't go to the top of City Hall but a black woman and a white man. But Obama and Michelle moved in there, and they turned it around. Not having enough education with black people is real harmful. You worry about the drugs and everything else. Guess what? We all did it, but you didn't know it. But our street and our everything starts at home. We got all this technology. You got T-Mobile and Sprint that got together. The phone shut off. If you remember a long time ago when you talked on the phone, it was a party line. Now we got all this technology. What are we going to do with it? As far as supporting her, they better support her. But how do we get them out? You understand? I don't care what. We hit the street, and the Muslims can't do everything. They dressed them in, put them in suits, gave bean pie, and taught them. Our streets up there. As far as the police concerned, Kentucky Fried, I ran it from Center City up to Byberry Road. I know it, and none of my stores ever got robbed. We're stealing from one another with the knowledge and wisdom. We are afraid. They tell me, oh, she just talking when I was going through what I'm going. But I'm still standing by the grace of God. And WRD and Worthing and Lopez, he educated them. Just like Reverend Sullivan. Just like Reverend Sullivan and what's that? Freedom Theater, Uptown. We have all these things in place. What are we going to do? The vendors going, Susquehanna Avenue, we had all that running, jewelry and everything. For black women, always secured every every nation there was. Never been to Africa. But let me tell you something, our roots is here. We don't have to go there. We have to stand right there. Oh, Mommy, you don't need this. All my children, grandchildren, great-grand, they are doing fine, but they try to shelter me. You can't do that. That's why I became a member, because y'all are my new family. And if we don't get it right, can't nobody else get it right. You have to knowledge, and you dumb. I know y'all dumb. Because you could talk about the candidates and all that. When we used to go to the poll, they would tell us what to pick. Father Washington, all of them. I put a lot of time in. It's my time to shine. As a black woman, even though my grandmother was white and Indian, people used to call me cracker. You know, yeah, I wear the blonde wig because I like the color. I put it on my hair when I was in school. But when I had the roses on 6th grade in my hair, the principal and them took them off. My mom went up there with him.
That's a deep point, Sister Rosalind, though. She's coming from a really deep place. Thank you so much for your call.
Yes.
Deep place
Oh,
of the history right now. The thing that I was trying to unpack was trying to understand that she was saying that they told you what to pick versus not having versus having an option. This is great. Now that people have choices, you need to make the right choices right now.
Right? We're talking about the art of being wealth today on the MV McKee Show, but we're also talking about it from the standpoint of making space. Do we have enough room for what we want? You know what I'm saying? Do we know what we want? I think that's where we can kind of cap up this conversation. Do we know what we want? Can we have a conversation about what we're looking at? You know, we're looking at, these are our choices. Everybody's not excited about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I love that there's so much support, you know, as far as the black folks that I've been talking to have had this kind of beautiful support. A black woman has an opportunity to make history, and we understand the gravity of this moment. I like how, you know, Eric, you've been asking, and even Martin was kind of solidified that. Can we take this moment and do something powerful with it? But we also have to be able to articulate what our vision is. How do we hold these people accountable, you know, once they're in office, if we don't know what we want? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be able to articulate what we want. And I understand that black folks are not a monolith. We, you know, prayerfully, this is not something that has to be said, but just on a wide scale, the things that benefit black people benefit all people, not just black people.
All people.
You know what I'm saying? So if you really want to be on this all lives matter, well, then make sure black lives are safe. How about that? Let's have that conversation. The things that our black agenda would cover all people. That's what the Black Panthers were doing when they had the free breakfast program. You know what I'm saying? All the things that you look at from the standpoint that the Black Panthers were doing, they benefited all people. And so when you look at, even if you want to get biblical about it, take care of the least of these. That's in the Bible. And it benefits all people. And part of the divide is that we said, no, the only people that can have all the things are these people that have all this money that they stole. And take that any way you need to. I've already explained it. Go back. You know what I'm saying? So we have to begin to bridge that divide by recognizing when we take care of those who we consider the least of these, everybody benefits. So when we're saying Black Lives Matter, we're saying give us the equity, and then everybody benefits on the larger scale. So how are we gonna have this conversation? Like, what do we want? What's the vision for the beloved community, right? We have DJ Frosty Phoenix. We have Martin the Shaman. We have Dr. Ajima. We're all in the Woo Woo Metaphysical Studio having this conversation. This is the MV McKee Show. I am Envy McKee. This is WURD 900 AM 96.1 FM. We'll be right back.
The Dr. Emeka Show. Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Streaming live at wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. Start saving more for retirement now so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Get free tips to help boost your retirement savings now at aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
A message brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
No fear, just facts. This is WURD, independent black media.
I ain't no better than you, and you ain't no better than me. But we all have something in common. We all are species, seeds of God's creation.
Tune in to Messages in the Music every Friday night with Joey T, midnight to 6 a.m. right here on WURD.
Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at Forward. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to the Envy McKee Show.
Hey, oh, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm taking my freedom, pulling it off the shelf, putting it on my chain, wearing it round my neck. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my car, wherever I choose to go. It won't take me far. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 living my life like it's golden.
Welcome back to the MVP Show. MVP, DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin the Shaman, Dr. Ajima. We're in the Woo Metaphysical Studio. We're talking about the art of being divine, wealth. We are also talking about making room for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's key. Like, we can talk all we want, but if we have not really cleared the space for what's arriving, what? And I think that's kind of what happened with Barack Obama, you know, from a political standpoint. We weren't ready. You know what I'm saying? And I think Martin made that point too. And when you think about it, and for whatever reason, when I think of this, Hamilton is so top of mind. Like, if you have Disney Plus, or you have someone that someone that has Disney Plus, you have access to Disney Plus, or you have $600-700 a ticket to go see Hamilton on Broadway, whatever it is, however you work in it, you know what I'm saying? See Hamilton. It is really, really, it's an entertaining way to get a lot of information that you probably did not learn about the forming of our country. And I think it's a powerful show. I will also say this. There are lots, we came up with, we understood that in the beginning when we were just forming this country, and we understand that this country is an experiment. And for whatever reason, we stopped treating it like an experiment and started treating it like a fact. You know what I'm saying? Instead of it's supposed to be an evolutionary process. Stop growing. And anything that ain't growing is soil, right? So we got here because we stopped experimenting. We stopped playing. We stopped evolving. We stopped growing. Whoever the folks were that created these systems just so they can keep their power, they did this. That's the they that we're talking about. Those folks aren't still alive, but the systems are alive and well. They were trying to keep the evolution from happening. They said, oh, this is good. We're good with this. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to hold power, and it created stagnancy. It created this kind of monster that we're living in where nothing works. Everybody else is growing and evolving, but the systems aren't. And that's why we got this stalemate going on. And I feel like Donald Trump represents that. He represents that. Even his slogan, "Make America Great Again," it is a stalemate. It's this idea that something in the past was better than where we are now, so we're not going to move forward. We're going to go backward.
But
first of all,
it's an idea of having wealth in a previous mindset than what you had, holding on to the past.
Holding on to the past, not learning from it too. By the way, You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not being educated about what the past represents, and then not having this vision, this forward thought.
It was
process.
good back when I was able to be on Home Alone 2 and make a scene. That was the good days.
But the funny part is, like, the kind of things that he's into is like 1950s. You know what I'm saying?
That's talking about legacy and the way he was raised. The one thing I would, and I'll use this word very loosely, the one thing I definitely would say I would respect about him, and you would question whether or not, is that he doesn't consume alcohol, or he doesn't consume, I think, narcotics, because that's what killed his older brother, Fred.
Right.
So he has some decorum of
McDonald's
understanding.
every day. Listen,
He has
that
some
man
decorum of
eats
understanding
McDonald's
that, but now he's too set in the ways that he was raised moving forward. But that there was some type of moral decision based on something that affected his past that he doesn't make.
Or his ego.
He does have a moral center, but when you eat processed food every day for every meal, it impacts what kind you are what you eat.
Big Macs are a delicacy.
I'm not coming in.
No, because he had Big Macs at like the whole situation for the kids or something like that. It was like when he had a youth, a high school or something, they visit the White House and I had cheeseburgers from McDonald's laid out.
Anybody's neck. I don't want that. I don't want that smoke. All I'm saying is
you're low, Martin.
Remember what his niece said?
What his
niece said that he she's a psychologist, and she read him in that book.
Did you read the book?
No, I read the paragraph where you talked about her grandmother.
You said no.
I read the paragraph. I don't need to. I mean, I live Trump, so I don't know. Yeah, but she said he's his what do you call it when you not a psychopath. He's a
socio.
Yeah, sociopath. So I mean, he has, and the damage their father did to her father, the damage her grandfather did to her father by sending Trump. When he got exactly what he wanted to get, the father sent Trump up there to dog out his brother, and Trump went willingly. And then Trump's mentor, he's replaced his father with the gangster lawyer guy. I mean, so it's obvious. And then what did he say? He's going to lose because we don't love him. Do you remember that quote 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? He's going to lose because people just don't love him.
Nope, sure don't. Bye.
And so that, he's constantly looking for affirmation of being affirmed.
You want love? Go talk to
talking about this
you want
last
love?
night.
You want love? Go talk to your wife. Oh, wait a minute.
No, listen, we were talking about this last night. We were talking about how we got here was that, remember it's not Meet the Press, but it's like the core of the they call it Nerd Prom.
Nerd Prom.
Where all the press get together, the press corps or whatever, and they have that big event.
White House press conference. Yeah,
yes, White House
correspondence.
Yes, the Correspondence Center.
Yeah,
right.
that is nerd. That's press nerd prom.
They call it Nerd Prom. And so Barack Obama was president, and he got up there, and because Donald Trump was there, and remember Donald Trump was leading the birther movement, and it was a whole thing. And Barack Obama, I don't remember what he said, but he roasted Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was like, nah, son. He essentially, yep, that's what he did. He essentially, from that moment forward, all of this that we're looking at here was
an ego
vindictiveness.
Trip.
It was a vindictive thing. It was like, I'm going to show you.
It was an ego thing.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
His ego was bruised, and he went. So imagine the level of whatever you got, ego, where you are willing to burn the whole thing down just about that.
Oh my gosh. Unpacking that, like when you take on something that's heavier than you to defeat your enemy, but then there's more weight to what you've done than you
see
realize.
what I'm talking about?
But to Envy's point about capitalism, and I call this false capitalism, that's what that type of attitude is applauded. For instance, hate to bring this up, but Robert Smith, the billionaire who's giving everybody money and cleared everybody's debt, he's under federal investigation for tax evasion because his mentor, a very reclusive billionaire that gave him his first billions, gave him advice on how to create tax shelters that are questionable in Bermuda. Now, the IRS and the Fed is deciding whether or not to prosecute him, and it all hinges on whether or not a nonprofit that he's the only person on board, allegedly, a nonprofit that he's the only person on board, did they get the money that was transferred from his corporation to this non-for-profit? And because he's the only person, obviously the case can be made, he definitely benefited from this donation that his corporation gave, which is about $1 million. They're looking to, I think it's a couple $1 million. They're looking to figure out whether or not he's trying to avoid paying taxes. But my point is saying
it's not
that's
enough.
that's the false capitalism that says I'm so important that I need to shelter this little $4 million when you had the potential to make billions. And so you're gonna go to jail, or he can lose his license. He can't work for his own company if he's prosecuted.
He's not going to jail.
Yeah.
Oh no, he offered to turn state's evidence.
We'll see how this further plays out.
But it's the bravado. I'm saying what Baby's talking about. I mean, what you're talking about is that is something that is appreciated, looked for, nurtured in fake capitalist world.
Oh, I always thought that Trump was a representation of America today, a business. Or then. I think people are starting to come together now and realize, especially with COVID, that it's bigger than just business and money.
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah, it has to be. And that's why we
have business, but have business where people actually are benefiting from.
Right.
Like the business owner sending home PPE to his employees for their families to wear.
Yeah.
That's not just capitalism. That's actually saying I'm a socially just business.
Mutual aid and support.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, centering our humanity, you know what I'm saying, versus just these kind of thoughtless entities in these systems.
Over and over again.
You think about it. Our government does not work for us. Government works.
It should. It's become autonomous. Yeah.
We fund the government through our taxes, but our government does not work for us. Why doesn't our government work for us?
Because they let it get that far to make decisions for you. Yeah.
Right. And so the people that we have elected into office have their best interest at heart. They get
because the food they're eating is making them sleepy, and they're sitting there watching Real Housewives
they got those
instead of going
salaries,
to a community meeting.
Gorgeous health care. They have all the things that they are denying us, saying that we aren't. What?
No, we have a call.
We're not worthy.
Go ahead.
Oh, we got a call.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We do have a call to Brother Tyrone, North Philly. What's going on, Tyrone?
Let's call Tyrone.
Wow.
Call him.
Wow.
Call him.
And
tell him I said, come on, come and get your stuff.
Her album's coming soon. No, I'm kidding.
Well, first of all, peace and blessings and much love and respect to everyone there, my WURD family, and to all the progressive folks across this planet. You know, I love listening to y'all. The reason that I really love listening to y'all is, you know, my sis, one thing that you do, it's like you touches the essence of what is. And Brother Eric, you know, that it's like them critical thinking and your positive thoughts that come across the airwaves. And what y'all do is really make people really look inside themselves and kind of, you know, get another perspective or a new perspective as to, you know, how you live it. So I, want to just thank y'all for being who you are. And I told Brother Eric, you know, our young folks, man, they are powerful, they are creative, but right now they need direction, they need leadership, and y'all are showing enough the folks that they need to create that positive energy that they have, to put it into something that they can build on and grow from. But I just want to end my conversation, with when we're talking about this politics. You know, thank God that we have a ticket. And the ticket that we have is more so one of what you always say, sister. You talk about the essence of what is really inside of you as a human being. And I know for a fact if you don't mind me just saying this very quickly. I called Dr. Emeka the week before the last presidential election. And I said to him, you know, Dr. Emeka, they keep talking about Hillary is 15 points and 14 points ahead, and she looked like she's going to win this. But one thing about this country, billionaires kind of fascinate people. And a lot of folks get locked into, you know, wanting what or appreciating what these billionaires have. And I said to him that I hope that this election will be more about folks looking into diversity as opposed to isolation and separation, because that's what the difference between those two tickets. And we came and we've seen the billionaire one, and we've seen where we are today. So I'm just hoping, getting back to you, sis, that folks really look at the essence of what is and how what is going to help you be a better person and help this country be what it can be and not just be for those who have and forget about the have-not. So that's what this election is going to be about.
Come on now. Woo. And prayerfully, we learned our lesson.
Prayerfully.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, sometimes let's just see. It's not going to be, because I'm not coming at Mark's neck, but I remember, being in a conversation with Mark Lamont Hill. He's like, Donald Trump's policies aren't going to, we all thought we did not even have the scope of imagination about the depths that we would sink to. You know what I'm saying? Like when we talk about failure of imagination, Dr. Jima, we did not imagine the level, like how over his head this office is. You get what I mean? Like we didn't we couldn't even imagine. And so on the one hand, because we couldn't imagine, because we are still playing from the paradigm, we were still thinking from the paradigm of, people kind of have a general, good nature about them. We're going to all, just have a gentleman's agreement. This dude was like, nope.
Gentlemen, what's that? and honestly, he read the crowd right. The country didn't want a gentleman's agreement.
Right.
No, they didn't. But I feel like, again, from a spiritual perspective, he showed up right on time, because the country, having what we have now, which is kind of like this ground zero where everything is possible now, we understand, like, people that never even thought that they could even had a chance to run for office ran and are.
Oh my God, this year is going to be so glorious.
Yes. So so from that standpoint, we actually have to look at him and be like, thank you. But you still got it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. I have a prayer for difficult people that I'm going to share in the Facebook Live at some point, that I think it will really help us to kind of put this into perspective. I think if I can find it during the commercials, I can give it to Eric. We can play it on the air coming back, just so you can hear it. Like, you look at people who you view as difficult in your life, and you say, thank you for the unfoldment of my soul, because that's what we're doing right now. We're unfolding the soul of this country, and we have to be open and available and make space for what's coming. Otherwise, we're going to get another one 4 years later. Are we willing to transcend, or do you want to keep doing this hell loop? Which one? Right? All right. We're done with calls at this juncture, but thank you so much for all of you who have contributed to the conversation. You on the Facebook Live, we love you. We're going to go pay these bills. That's DJ Frosty Phoenix. That's Martin the Shaman. That's Dr. Jima. I'm Ivy McKee. We'll be right back.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. Come on out and become a Word Radio member one by one. Renew your membership or get a new one. Get serious information and have some fun. Call 215-425-7875. That's 215-425-7875. Come on out and become a Word Radio member one by one. Renew your membership or get a new one. Get serious information and have some fun.
Support independent Black media and join the 4Word movement now at 215-425-7875 or visit wordradio.com. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at 4Word. Word TV. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to the Envy McKee Show.
Her son paved the way. Now all eyes on me. Cause I'm young, black, and gifted. Nina, all eyes gon' see. If you swung back when faced with a challenge that's meant to break you and balance scales, you ain't average. Now throw your hands on three. Gon' put them up for black magic.
Black excellence. Black habits. This black medicine. Everything
black chucks, black tucks, everything.
Everything black.
Hug, black love, everything.
Praise black Jesus. Play black Moses. Give them flowers while they still give black roses. Everything
black tie, black ride, everything.
Everything
black pride, black lives, everything. Skin the wall.
Who is this, Eric?
D Smoke. I'll get that link that you did send me though. But yes, yeah. He was the winner of that one program with Cardi B and them that judged on Netflix. I forget what it is off the top of my head right now.
The song is cute.
Yeah.
Everything black, black cars, black, 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 all the black, black, black talk media, WURD, everything
there you go.
Black. Ow, ow, ow. So welcome back to the Envy McKee Show. This is the part of the show where we cap up our conversation by going around the room and finding out what we learned, if anything. So whoever wants to start, they can start.
Martin.
that's the progression, boy, every time.
Somebody's got to be first, boo.
I guess that Eric took us down a path that I wouldn't have equated with wealth. So,
I'm so grateful.
Oh, dang.
Can I just say, I'm just so grateful. I'm always grateful for our producer, but I'm really grateful for Eric today because, like I said, like I'm in a weird place and Eric just holding the ship together. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Political power obviously is definitely contributing to wealth. But what I was saying I learned was that I hadn't thought about, till Eric brought up Black women's wealth. And what that looks like intentional. I actually have a really good contact who's central in Black women for the last 20-some years, and I'm going to call her tomorrow and say, hey, how are you going to use this moment, use this opportunity? You worked for 20 years for, this is called a Black Women's Roundtable, and I know the executive director of that, and so I'm going to ask her and say, look, this is but again, I wouldn't have thought to do that if it wasn't for Eric's question.
All right, so even to a point, it brought up not necessarily a second guessing of that thing, but to even say where you defer from that thought about the wealth of this future bid that this party, if winning, could lay out for the future, and just even to a point of what's the word I'm looking for? Contributing to a conversation about, I don't agree with that. Let me find another one.
That's
find
what you
another path. No, well, for me, no, that's not what I learned. I was responding to Martin's point, but that's cool though. I get that.
I'm lost. I don't know what you responded.
No. To your point about saying that wealth is in this possible future of democracy, of this party. When and if they win, it's going to be fair here. Voting is up to the people. I'm not going to call for the people the way it looks like it's about to win, but, and I'm not going to knock on wood, but the possibility of, to your point, Martin, another option, saying, well, that's not necessarily what I agree with. I agree that the value might not just be with the point that you made earlier. Let me find another way about that. It's bigger than just talking about the wealth of the black woman in this situation. I agree. I can agree with that. I was just saying, I can see that differently. I think you know what, I can apply that to what I learned, is that there's another path to viewing it as more than just the value of the person that whom you hope will hold that office, but also having a conversation about the value of that said person as well, which continues into the conversation of divine wealth.
Okay. What about you, Dr. G?
Amen.
Yeah, yes. I want to echo what, Martin said, being grateful to Eric about, centering our conversation about thinking about divine wealth as about Black women, because that really inspired some deep thinking of my own. And I think it was solidified by Rosalind one night, who talked about, it's my time to shine because I'm a Black woman. So I'm putting in the context of what we're talking about and what I learned today. And this, I think, sort of pivots next into what, Martin mentions about just thinking about applying this and thinking about women that he knows in his own life. And the key thing I'm walking away with is that, as an action item for myself and just to, learn, is just, make room for Black women to shine. That is creating space for divine wealth, right? Shine, the shine of Black women. And it's like not only this current political moment, but in your everyday life, right? So that's the main thing I kind of I took away from our conversation today. So that I thought that was pretty just, I thought it was inspiring for me that key to what we're talking about this month, that the art of divine wealth isn't money, that monetary exchange. For me, it comes back full circle to what we talked about last time when I was on the show. It's about having faith in people's value. And shine to Black women that we need to have more faith in and make space for that shine. And allow them to.
No, I love it. I love it.
Question before you get to go, Envy. Do you want to play this prayer on our way out, the one you sent?
Yes,
Okay.
we will, instead of reading from A Course in Miracles, because there's nothing really jumping out at me in this conversation, we can play that out. I think that's
okay.
That's good. I think that's a good cap up. But what I learned today was not only can we look at our politics as wealth, as a form of wealth, because I don't think any of us really thought of it that way. I didn't even think of, Black women as wealth, or, Black men as wealth, or just our humanity as wealth. That was not even something that was top of mind. We were really just talking about health and well-being, the typical things, but our humanity as a source of wealth, that's big. You know what I'm saying? As currency, our humanity is currency.
You're carrying generations of learning. Birds don't fly by watching YouTube. They fly by the DNA implants of their ancestors.
Listen, if you think about generational wealth from a standpoint of our humanity, but how we treat each other, how we teach our children to treat the planet, that's a form of wealth. What? Our politics, how we interact with each other, how we communicate with each other.
Civics was a thing once.
Listen. So if we start as we're building this beloved community within ourselves first, right? As we are deciding and recognizing that we can't have anything we're not willing to become, and we start looking at, okay, well, what do I have to become to have this? What do I have to become? Because really making space for what we want is the willingness to become it. The willingness you have to be able to hold it. And what are you willing to do that? You're gonna have to, pump some iron. It's a practice. So I feel like the next phase of this conversation, and as we're practicing it, is what does our workout look like? What are we, energetically, how are we energetically working ourselves out so that we can hold this good? Like, what is our physical practice going to look like? And that's what we're going to talk to Jason about next week. So,
spiritual workout,
right? Our humanity workout, because we got into the habit of treating each other as second-class citizens. When we decided that black folk, indigenous Africans who came over in 1619, when we decided that they were 3/4 of the human, we made us all that way. The way we treat our brother, we can only see the world through the same lens we see ourselves. So when whoever made that decision, whatever group of folks, that's how they felt about themselves, and they needed someone to be over. So you can take that any way you need to. But that's what happened. And so now we're faced with this idea that, oh my goodness, all along, it was never about money. It's always been about our humanity. That's the true wealth. And what are we willing to, we're going to have to reframe the conversations that we have with ourselves about that. When people get on their Instagram and they throwing money and whatnot, what? You just throwing paper, boo.
That's
what
so
about
2020.
your humanity?
That's so 2020.
Right? Right. Okay, star people. We want to thank Dr. Ajima for being here because she is amazing. She is our dean of spiritual exploration, right? We have so
close.
What is
Awakening.
What is it?
Inquiry.
Spiritual inquiry.
An awakening, exploration. I'll take it all.
Yes.
Our resident life explorer. We love when you're in the Woo Metaphysical Studio every first and third Fridays. How do we reach you, Dr. Ajima?
Oh, this question.
You know what I learned?
See last week's answer.
Right. See last week's answer. That's fine. So that's class, Star folks, Star fam. That's class. Thank you all for being present. If you learned something powerful here, please don't keep it to yourself. Tell folk about this show. Next week, we bring 3 friends with you. The world is held together by our agreements and our conversations about those agreements. If you want to live in a different world, we're going to have to start talking about things differently. And as Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith is known to say, the second coming is community. So I want to thank our guest stars, Dr. Ajima, DJ Frosty Phoenix, Martin the Shaman, for being the Woo Woo core crew. We love you. There is no show without you. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being present. I also want to remind you to go to mvmckeyshow.com, sign up for the weekly updates that include Stars Notes, the Woo Metaphysical Studio, clips from our chats, and then you get to find out when we're going to actually launch our merch. Okay? So all that jazz. So Freedom Sounds says Jazz is up next. And so we love them and we're giving them love and shout outs. But Erica's going to play this prayer. It's called A Prayer for Difficult People. And you can find it on the SoundCloud. We'll put it in the Facebook, chat if you want to, have it for yourself. And it's something that you can listen to as we continue to unfold and grow. Yes? Thank you. We love you. Levine House Star people.
Levine Osho Envy.
Peace. See you next week. I am unbotherable. I bless you where you are with compassion and love. I see you the way God sees you. I see you in your original form. I forgive you for everything and express my deepest gratitude for your healing, wholeness, and your return to love. I thank God for your life and for your soul. I thank God for your master teaching. You are a master teacher. You may not recognize it, but without you, I would not be learning such valuable lessons about myself through you. As I face you, I face myself. As I forgive you, I forgive myself. I change, I grow, I expand, I ask better questions. I stretch myself beyond current circumstances. I see beyond them. It no longer matters what I am facing. What matters now is what must face me. When you see my face, friend in spirit, you see the face of God. We've crossed paths for a divine reason. I bless you. You are blessed and a blessing. I claim our interactions good and very good each time we meet. I claim insight. I claim awareness, I claim self-discovery, I claim self-acceptance, and
authenticity. I claim ease and grace. I claim peace and well-being. I claim that we both divinely recognize the truth. Love is all there is, even in disagreement. I don't have to agree with you to see who you truly are. You are love, as am I. You are blessed and a blessing. Thank you for your service to the unfoldment of my soul. It is divinely and harmoniously so, and so it is.